Hello everyone and welcome to the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament here in the Tier 2 scene on Xbox NA. I am NSB, I'm joined on this lovely night by Unicorn, and we're here in Group 4 out of the 5 groups participating, and we're ready to bring you some nice 1v1 action.
Yeah, we definitely are. Good to be here with you as well, NSB. Excited for some fun 1v1s coming up here. Obviously, it's going to be a limited duel 1v1 here. You lovely people in chat will not be seeing any Reinhardt, Sombra, or Mercy, just for the banning purposes. Obviously, with limited duel, when a player wins with a specific hero, that hero is no longer playable in the best of 5 series. Once again, we are in group stages. This will determine who moves to playoffs and 1v1 championship. So that's a pretty simple rundown. Anything from you, NSB, before we hop in?
I don't have too much to touch on other than the 2 maps are going to be Castillo and Eco Point Antarctica, as you see in the background of your screen here. We're going to be starting it off on Eco Point Antarctica. The 3 players in our current group are Luxrain, Onto the Stars, and then that's the first 2. They're going to be starting off our match here, as it looks like we are entering the game.
Arriving at Eco Point Antarctica.
Yeah, definitely. And as we mentioned, we also have, I believe it's Rook on standby. He'll be jumping into the next group 1v1 here as we move in with just these 3 players. We did have a couple people drop out for work purposes and some other stuff going on, which is totally understandable. So we're going to hop in with these 2. And what do you expect to see here? I think a lot of Widows, maybe some hit scans. Roadhog will obviously be popular.
And it looks like with the first 3 heroes that were available, both of them are going to pick the Roadhog. And yeah, it's just going to be this simple 1v1 duel with the Mirror. Of course, they do have 3 different heroes to select from in the limited duel mode, but both of them have selected the same hero as we move on. It looks like Onto the Stars just scouting out on this top area, giving a little wave to start this one off, and not much damage can be done from this range. I'm sure we're going to see a hook soon, as it looks like, yeah, they're just in a standoff right now, poking at each other with these little blasts.
Yeah, and these left triggers do matter to see if we can bait a breather from one of the Roadhogs. But I mean, we've all been in a Roadhog 1v1. Usually, the first hook loses if the secondary hog, if the second hog can play it correctly. But both players just being passive here for now, trying to get those left triggers off. Here comes the first hook though from Luxrain.
Yeah, Luxrain getting some early damage, forcing that breather out from the side of Onto the Stars, and now it's just going to be a chase through the hallway. Luxrain lands the hook, but Onto the Stars gets the nicer shots here, and the cooldown is just barely online for Luxrain to get that health back, but the hook comes in, and Onto the Stars does take this first round.
Yeah, plays it patiently there, uses the breathers, doesn't throw a hook for a long time throughout that 1v1. Definitely waits on it, and then after Onto the Stars pops the breather there, they're able to close it out. That's not too bad for the first Roadhog 1v1. I wish we could see the heroes that are available for the choices for the players.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a nice little thing that could be added in, but it looks like, again, we're going to see Roadhog into the mix, at least from Onto the Stars, as Luxrain is playing the support of Ana, and I think this does favor Onto the Stars yet again.
Yeah, absolutely here. I mean, one good combo can wipe out this Ana, but the outplay potential for Luxrain on the Ana is there. You know, a good sleep followed by an anti as Onto the Stars goes to take a breather can definitely end up working in his favor. May have to pop one early here as well, taking some damage.
When the hook comes out, but the sleep is there in return. Luxrain doesn't have that biotic grenade ready, so they are going to fall back into the safety of the stairwell, as now Onto the Stars is going to get that breather, and Luxrain will be healed up just a bit with that bio grenade. Still forced to just run away and retreat from this scary pig at the moment.
Yeah, you need a second Bionade here to heal, then you run a little bit more to get your cooldowns back, and then hope for the outplay again, but we may be here for a little bit on this one.
Yeah, Onto the Stars just peeking these corners, does spot out Luxrain, however there are some nice shots. That's most likely just going to be negated, as it looks like the hook coming out, the breather is there to get that healing back up. And it's going to be yet another stalemate, I believe, as Luxrain is just going to be able to run away. Might see a hook landed there, and that's the nice one-shot combo. Onto the Stars, taking it 2-0, and looking pretty good on the Hog so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think Luxrain missed a pick potential there. Onto the Stars was forced to take a breather after a missed hook. I think that's where the sleep comes in, followed by the ante. Then you just get in the hog's face and hope you can come out on top of the duel while he's down on his cooldowns. But either way, it's a hard matchup there for the Ana. Can't hate on Luxrain too much, but let's see if he can get out of this 2-0 with the next hero pick.
Looks like we're going to have a Baptiste from the side of the red and the Mei of Luxrain. And in this one, who do you think has the advantage? Because I think both have a lot of utility, and especially Bap there.
Yeah, both have a ton of sustain, a lot of options there for what can save you. But if it gets close range, obviously I'm going Luxrain. But if Onto the Stars can keep him at bay with the recently buffed Bap damage for the fire rate, hopefully Bap can take this. But a lot of sustain on both ends. I don't know.
Now it looks like they have spotted each other out. Luxrain hasn't landed an icicle yet, but just as I say that, 2 headshots and barely surviving that round. But we're looking closer to a tied game at this moment as Luxrain does fire back with that nice shot on the Mei.
Contrary to popular belief, it turns out that Bap doesn't have any utility if you don't use his abilities at all. So Luxrain definitely taking advantage of that there with the icicles right to the noggin. I'd love to see what the next heroes are as we jump on board with Onto the Stars Soldier. Soldier v Soldier. Now, he is a laser beam right now. If you can control this recoil, this guy is absolutely unstoppable. Onto the Stars is going to leg up here top right side and look for Luxrain. You think of a long range here in SB, or do they get in each other's face and go for a helix?
It looks like Onto the Stars wants the relatively close range duel, but not able to land any of those shots despite, I think, having the positional advantage there over Luxrain. Now just going to be forced to retreat as they're looking for these rotations to come through. Luxrain playing it very defensive, but now peeks around the corner and gets a few nice hits on Onto the Stars, who I believe did use that biotic field earlier. So definitely an advantage here as, yeah, again, the cooldown's forced from Onto the Stars, but Luxrain falling very low at that point, and now these cooldown battles are completely reset, but Onto the Stars going in gets taken out by Luxrain there in the close combat with a nice Helix rocket combo.
Yeah, bit of a misplay there from Stars. Went for a melee when he was unfortunately nowhere near him, and Lux was able to turn it around with a nice Helix and some headshots. That was a well played from Luxrain there.
Yeah, now we do have this tied up series. Just gonna wait for, again, this timer to come down to who picks what hero, and it looks like in this round we do have our first sighting of Genji as well as Junkrat on the other side.
Fight.
Definitely, and this has the outplay potential for Lux. Obviously, if Onto the Stars can get the poke in, get a quick dash melee for the reset, that's an easy 1v1. But Luxrain with the mines definitely has a way out of this. I think it does favor Onto the Stars though.
And it looks like Onto the Stars has gotten that back angle. However, it is spotted out, and both of them falling just a few health points as the trap is going to be taken out, but that's not going to offer too much as now Luxrain. I like this positioning as they're keeping it close, forcing the Genji to commit to a duel where those mines are just going to bounce all over. You see the concussion blast coming out there, does get a bit of damage. And it looks like, yeah, Luxrain is just going to be camping in this small room, and I really like that play.
Yeah, I think the play definitely works out, and contrary to popular belief, I think Onto the Stars wins this by jumping straight into the Junkrat. Getting a good deflect onto a mine absolutely annihilates the 1v1, or excuse me, onto a Junkrat pill, just the primary fire there. He can definitely clutch this out, but he gets a good right trigger there. They're both around the same health. I think Luxrain with a little bit more at this point.
Yeah, and again, it's just going to be this duel around the corner. Onto the Stars so close, peeking around that corner, gets the deflect, just as you called it. And even destroys the trap at the end just for BM, because why not? And it looks like, again, red side has taken the lead. Onto the Stars is going to be pushing it closer to that match point.
Yeah, and once again, this is first of 5, so we've got a couple more good ones at least for this 1v1, and then Rooks will be taken over. But let's see what Luxrain and Onto the Stars opt for. It looks like both favoring the DPS heroes unless a Roadhog is available, which is understandable. And we don't get the Soldier v Soldier again. We get a Soldier versus Zarya.
Yeah, Luxrain looking to get that high charge. However, it's very hard to gain charges Zarya in these 1v1s, as both of these players seem pretty defensive, and they do want to conserve their health pools, as Zarya does have that utility of the regenerating shields though, so Onto the Stars is going to have to be forced to make a huge play sometime or another.
Yeah, and I think Luxrain does the exact same thing that Onto the Stars needed to do on Genji. I think you get in the soldier's face, you take a corner, you push him as soon as he pushes. As soon as he pushes you, you get in the face, pop a bubble, get your left triggers and your melees, and then try and beam him down the charge you got from hopefully what was a Helix from Onto the Stars. But as of right now, can't seem to find him. Taken poke, but is forced to use the biofield on Onto the Stars. So Luxrain has that advantage for about 8 more seconds.
Yeah, and it looks like the rotation just around the bus here, as Luxrain getting close to spotting out this soldier. However, they're just playing a bit of ring around the rosy. The bubble is coming out, and now it's going to be this close range duel. We'll see who gets on top. Onto the Stars does have that healing offered, but once it expires, just beamed straight down by Luxrain with some nice tracking.
Yeah, good tracking there. Worried me a little bit with the lack of a left trigger melee, but got the job done nonetheless. Good tracking from both sides there, but able to chew through that biofield. That was well played. Did exactly what we said. You know, got the charge from some initial poke that was trying to come through from Onto the Stars, and we've got a series of 3-3 here.
Yeah, it's definitely very close. We'll see if these next few rounds can decide who gets a lead in the group, as it looks like we do have a Mei versus Mei. So this could be a longer round than usual.
Definitely. I mean, you'll see some icicle pokes. May come down to a to overtime here on the point, right in the middle of your screen here. But Onto the Stars, Luxrain both playing primarily passive. Luxrain choosing to opt for that corner. Onto the Stars desperately searching for him, but both Meis just waiting to get these left triggers.
And it looks like they do come out. However, the better one is the headshot by Luxrain, but they're just going to both icicle, freeze themselves up, get a bit of health gain back, and we are basically on exactly the same ult charge for both of them. And it looks like the wall is going to be used to gain high ground from Onto the Stars, and that's a lot of freeze, but Luxrain with the defensive wall is going to negate that ability there, and still we're on same terms. It's completely level in this battle as Icicle is coming out. Luxrain falling very low. Again, uses the wall very well to be defensive, but the wall over, coming out from Onto the Stars. It's a big play, drops down with the Icicle. And that was really nice. I really like the utility used by both of those Mei players, but Onto the Stars getting the upper hand and pushing us into a potential last round on Antarctica.
Yeah, match point here for Onto the Stars. Good Mei play as well. Let's see what he opts for here. He's been a fan so far of the Roadhog. He was also on the Soldier a few times, so let's see what he opts for here. There's the
looks
Hog.
like, yep, the Hog again, this time
Soldier
versus the Soldier, and it's going to be very tough. Luxrain does have to make this clutch play in the round. Do you think it's going to happen, Unicorn?
I mean, Soldier's a laser beam. I can't say it enough. You can force Onto the Stars to use a breather almost immediately with just half a clip, especially if you get a Helix, and you see it right there. But all that's doing right now for Onto the Stars is building his ultimate. He can get away by just playing this patiently and waiting for a good hook into a whole hog combo at the very end. That way he can play the distance more safely, use Soldier's poke to his advantage by building up the breather, building up the ultimate, and playing it as slowly as he can until the point unlocks. But looking to opt forward here with some crouching. Good hook, but it does break. We're not in 1.0 mode anymore, thank God for that. But Luxrain will back off there and probably use a biofield here.
Yeah, it looks like the rotations are going to come through again. Both players looking for that potential burst of damage. It's definitely more present there from Hog, as you see Onto the Stars now sneaking around this corner ever so slowly, just looking for an angle to get out. And Luxrain may have spotted the Hog here, as it is a pretty big, loud hero. And it looks like for now they're not going to meet, as neither of them chooses to fully commit down that stairwell.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and if I'm Onto the Stars here, I'm popping a breather here. I'm popping a breather, and then I'm looking to take more poke. I don't mind the poke here. I want to use it to try and build an ult, maybe get some left triggers in there as well. But neither player are going to be close to an ultimate here, but Hog's going to go ahead and establish himself on point.
Yeah, looks like some poke game there from Luxrain as Onto the Stars playing these corners, looking for the big play of the hook. Luxrain has to drop soon as that capture point is almost unlocked, and now it's going to be contested here. You see the hook combo coming in, and the first victory here in the Apollo Community 1v1 Tournament Group 4, that's going to go to Onto the Stars.
Well played by him. I mean, did exactly what we were talking about, just in a little bit different of a fashion as we watch these good headshots from Luxrain here. Definitely a worthy opponent. You'll see more of them inside of this group stage, but good left clicks here onto the back.
Yeah, just some nice shots there. Unfortunately, losing out the whole 1v1 battle there. As, yeah, Onto the Stars, a nice start there. You're going to have 2 more matches in this group as we're going to get our next one rolling as we speak. And yeah, another good match. As we move on to Castillo for our second match, who do we have up next?
So next we're going to see some more of Luxrain, see if he can't redeem himself here coming on to Castillo. And he will be on board with Ninjaden.
Alright, yeah, so we're going to get our third face of Group 4 coming into the matches. Again, we do move on to Castillo. It's definitely going to be a very different map. I think snipers are more prominent, and that long-range battle will definitely be more of a factor, as Eco Point Antarctica, the only times that those players really engaged onto each other was when they were up close in those small rooms on the sides. So I think we're going to see some more long-range duels. Do you think we're going to see any new hero pools coming out as we move on to our next map and our next set of players?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen what Ninjaden likes to play, so maybe we'll see some more tank picks that Onto the Stars seem to prefer, Luxrain as well at certain times. I think what they're trying to do is gauge off of the limited matchups that they'll be forced into over those first few seconds and deciding what would counter what in a specific situation. And usually most players have capitalized on that, but we'll just have to see what Ninjaden prefers. I don't personally know him and what his hero pool is, but I feel like we'll have a look at it here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, and as we get these 2 players ready, again, the quick note that each of these matches is a first to 5, and the winner of the most matches, well, the 2 winners of the most matches, the best 2 players in this group will move forward onto the playoffs, which will be coming after we finish up these group stage matches. But there's definitely a lot more of the stream to come, and it looks like we should be getting this one straight into the match pretty soon.
Yeah, we've got readies from both players here. Once again, hopping on to Castillo. If you're ready for this one, NSB, as am I.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, again, a different game, a different 1v1 here with the hero pools. I believe we saw a lot of damage heroes selected by Luxrain, as well as Dabble in the Ana and the Baptiste, if I do remember correctly. So we'll see if any tanks come out from Ninjaden, and I think we saw it in our last 1v1 duel set, but the tanks do seem to have the best 1v1 potential.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can get Hog in one of these 1v1s, there's a rare time to not pick him, but now we're going to have some fun. We'll see the Tracer versus Tracer, and I actually want to hop on board first person with Ninjaden for this one, just to see how his Tracer plays.
Yeah, starting off with our newest player on to the stream, Ninjaden just going to be moving around this high ground, looking for a bit of poke to start it off as 1 damage is dealt to them. Definitely something to look out for here is this poke battle, as if one of these Tracers is forced to use recall early, as it looks like Ninjaden does, just to get the bit of juke there. And it looks like we've reset, and both of these players are again on the other side of the map. Tracer not necessarily known for her long-range dueling potentials. It looks like they're still just running around the sides, but now they come in up close. Both forced to use the recall here, but that's a nice set of bullets there from Ninjaden. Luxrain comes around the backside, though, and picks up the kill with that next clip of bullets. And Luxrain on a bit of a redemption story maybe here, as this is going to be probably their last chance to get back into this bracket.
Yeah, well played there from Lux. I forced the recall early just for the juke, and that meant that we could poke long range, and Ninjaden doesn't have that recall available. So when that final duel started, Ninjaden started with about 122 health compared to 150. And on 150 HP hero, every point of it matters. We all know that if we're a Tracer player. But we jump on board with Moira and Soldier. Ninjaden opting for the Soldier, and Luxrain opting for the Moira here. Definitely wants to get close range and see if we can't get some suck going. But Ninjaden wanted to poke from afar here as they're both trying to scout each other out.
I actually don't know if this rotation is the best idea as Luxrain takes a bit of a poke up on the high ground. I definitely like this one better as it looks like they're just trying to move forward closer and closer to get the damage orb bouncing around and to attach there onto the player. But that's a lot of burst damage with the Helix. Ninjaden getting it tied all up.
Yeah, I love the Moira pick in a lot of situations. I don't love it into a Soldier. I don't know if that's what I would have opted for in that specific situation. But they go with it, but the burst damage comes through. With Moira, if you can find a slower damaging hero where you can really take advantage of the consistent sustain followed by your slow creep damage, then it can work. But unfortunately not there, as it looks like we have the Moira versus Pharah here.
It's definitely going to be a test of Luxrain's ability to stay up in the air here on the Pharahs. It looks like they're going to start with the rocket boosters and getting close range here. A nice direct hit, and it's just going to take one more rocket to get the kill. However, Ninjaden retreating well, getting the healing orb out in the small room. The fade is gone, but Luxrain's health is looking super low. And again, the healing orb is there from Ninjaden, and it's looking pretty good for them to get this one into their lead for the first time in this 1v1.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we're talking about, right? This is where Moira shines. Luxrain winning these duels overall, but losing the health point war, as Ninjaden just goes and is forced to go back, heal herself, and then push back forward out onto the Pharah. And over the course of 4 or 5 slow duels, the Moira takes it. So well played there from Ninjaden. I think that was a really good way to play the Moira in those close quarters, then come out for some poke, and a definitely good try there from Luxrain on the Pharah. What do you think Luxrain needs here? Is it a Roadhog pick to bounce back into this?
I think it definitely has to be better hero selections, as it looks like for the most part Ninjaden has been picking the better heroes. You see it again, Luxrain doesn't opt for that Hog, which I think could be a bad mistake here, as it looks like they are going to immediately spot each other out. Ninjaden takes a few bullets to the head as Luxrain looking pretty good on the McCree so far, but again, that healing utility is there, and you could see the hook barely misses from Ninjaden, and it looks like they're both going to retreat behind their respective statues and walls.
And we're not crazy, right, NSB? They're both presented with the same heroes, the same 3 heroes, right?
Yeah, completely.
When they're in the pregame lobby. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we weren't calling out Luxrain when he may not have had a Hog available to him. But does opt for the McCree here. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he's just a headshot maniac, as he does get some good poke there from Ninjaden. But this is what I'm talking about. Ninjaden just building up that whole Hog, playing slowly, and then playing for point.
Yeah, it's just going to be this contest of how much Ninjaden can get these small poke damages out, as just chunking Luxrain down by 2 damage with every single one of these shots and then taking a breather when needed. That one doing a bit more damage, and Luxrain down to not very good health. The hook does break there on the corner of that wall, but another nice few shots, and Luxrain critical health does fall there just as the capture area was beginning to unlock. And now Ninjaden kind of running away with this one, as they're already up 2 points. They have this one in the lead with that 3-1 scoreline.
Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Luxrain just needs to really kind of optimize these hero picks. Opt for the tanky hero if you can. I mean, we saw it work with the Zarya when you chose against the Soldier, and he does opt for the D.Va here, so I like this.
Yeah, D.Va definitely going to be an interesting 1v1. I think they do absolutely have to take the close range duels. It looks like Luxrain taking an aggressive angle there, just boosting up forward. They're going to get straight up in each other's faces. The DMAC coming through from Ninjaden, but we could see an opposing DMAC. No, we don't, as Ninjaden just using that defense matrix really well, getting the higher damage output, and that's just going to be yet another round going the way of the red side.
Yeah, Luxrain took a lot of those micro missiles from D.Va, or excuse me, from Ninjaden, and then when Ninjaden went to go for the micro missiles, he was able to get a lot of damage in, and then all of them were eaten when Luxrain went for the same thing. Ninjaden really optimizing that DM perfectly as he opts for the D.Va again, and Luxrain goes for the BAP. This is definitely doable. BAP with a lot of burst damage now that he's been buffed. If anyone doesn't know, if you ever get in a close range fight with D.Va, you strafe long, hard circle strafes because it's hard for that mech to turn. But we'll see if he can make it work here as he's getting D-mech so quickly.
Yeah, already the D-mech coming out. Now it's, a bit of a miss on the immortality field, but Luxrain does make it into that safety area. Now with the cooldown advantage,
Oh no.
the close range. I thought Luxrain had that one covered, but Ninjaden with the clean 5-1, almost a complete sweep there.
Yeah, absolutely perfectly played from Ninjaden there. He gets teabagged and then finds the outplay by hugging those stairs on the left side and then playing for the outplay with that pistol. Plays it perfectly there. Watch him hug the left side of these stairs, forcing the BAP down. Yeah, well played there. Very well played.
Yeah, and in the chat, of course, we do have our different people providing the different advices, and I think that chat is actually correct for once in a long time. They're saying higher health pools, definitely better. The more self-healing you have, also very good, as it's really tough to burst down heroes like Roadhog or D.Va, and it was apparent there as even when that D.Va was out of mech, they were still able to take the victory there, and Ninjaden definitely looking like one of the better players in this group.
Yeah, definitely. Well played from Lux as well. I'm not sure how exactly these group stages are going to work since we've had some players drop out. I'm not sure if that's automatically the end of it for Luxrain. Hopefully we'll see more from that player, maybe a possibility to redeem themselves. If not, well played. We definitely enjoyed having you. But Ninjaden coming out with that win, and I believe, let me check my screen here. We do hop in with Onto the Stars versus Ninjaden. So let me go ahead and swap those around, make sure we've got the readies from the players, and we'll jump into it here. Anything you're looking for in this one? We've seen both of these players now.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a close match between Luxrain and Onto the Stars, and not necessarily as much of a close match with Luxrain and Ninjaden. So Ninjaden with a bit of an upper hand moving into this next round. It's going to be on Onto the Stars to prove that they can dominate, as it looks like they do have that home turf of Eco Point Antarctica, as we do move back onto this map, switching through the maps each series. And yeah, as we get this group closer and closer to finishing, it looks like we're going to enter our next and possibly final round here. As, again, moving on to Eco Point Antarctica, Luxrain out of this lobby, and Onto the Stars coming in to take that spot and give us our final group stage match.
Yeah, definitely. And Onto the Stars playing well before. I think both of these players choosing to opt for exactly what you and I and even chat were talking about. The high health pool, high sustained heroes with the self-heals and the one-shot combos like Roadhog definitely seems to be the winners here, as they both do opt for the Hog. So once again, we're looking for second hook. We're looking to either hook someone out of a breather, or we're looking to get close range duels, force a breather, then go for the hook combo afterwards. As it looks like Ninjaden does opt for the left side. He's aggressive here too. He just wants to go ahead and get it started.
Onto the Stars just dropping off, and now it looks like he's going to land the first hook. It's going to be Onto the Stars, but both of them falling very low. The breather's forced out, and Onto the Stars is going to have a brief advantage where Ninjaden is down with those cooldowns, but it doesn't look like they're going to, either one of them is going to take advantage of that cooldown time. They're going to go back to full health, each opting for this defensive play style after that quick offensive move from Ninjaden, and it looks like now they're going to pop out on the high grounds, and this one could take a while until they get back into close range.
Yeah, definitely. I think, we'll see a lot of the same thing here. They'll opt for the left triggers, play it slowly, as it looks like One of the Stars does go back to his high ground here, wants to push forward. He gets aggressive and misses his hook.
And now Ninjaden dropping down. This is the opportunity for them to land this big hook. You see some nice shots coming through. Again, both of them forced to use the breather, but this time Ninjaden with a bit of a health advantage. Whole Hogs coming out from either side, and they're just going to knock each other all the way back. onto the stars, gonna take a breather and take their stance around this objective as well.
Definitely, almost identical health here. I think I go for one more breather here if I'm both of them, and then I play it slow, and then I try and get that final duel on the point. They both choose to do that. Well, Under the Stars hasn't taken a breather yet, needs to do so or he's going to be down that cooldown.
Yeah, and it looks like Ninja dropping down onto the point, looking around for that player, does find them and gets the hook. Onto the Stars with a bit of a misplay there. Yeah, like you noted, not using that essential healing ability to get themselves back up to full. I don't think they were expecting such a quick fight as that capture point unlocked.
Yeah, definitely a strange choice there from Under the Stars. I think wanted to play it sneaky, and he did end up doing that. I mean, Ninjaden turned around, he got the initial hook, but when you're starting out, 200 damage down, the Roadhog's no longer fighting a Roadhog. He's fighting a Zarya or whatever it may be. He's fighting a lower health pool hero, but both players opting for the Echo here, around in the past, and now I love watching these duels. These are mid-air, high mechanical skill duels. I'm excited to see something.
It's definitely going to be who can aim the best, who can lead their shots, get a nice set of sticky bombs going, as Ninjaden going aggressive, looking for Onto the Stars. However, Onto the Stars has made the rotation all the way around, and it looks like they make it the first shot out here as Ninjaden already very low. This blue side looking to tie it up. All they need is a nice focusing beam, and it could be Ninjaden. Missing the sticky bombs there onto the Reds side's Echo, and again, maybe a bit of a misplay there from the blue onto the Stars. Ninjaden taking advantage of that very well, and at that super low health pool, getting the better focusing beam.
Onto the Stars damages himself with his own sticky bombs, gets within beam fire range, and then takes the increased beam damage to lose a 1v1 when Ninjaden had it. Started it at what, 25, 30 health? It should have been an easy win for Onto the Stars, but we have a Tracer versus McCree duel, the classic counter versus counter.
Yeah, it's going to be, can the McCree get the stun? Can Ninjaden move this up to a 3-0 lead? But Onto the Stars with the nice sneaky move there around the corner, and now they do have the upper hand, but the headshot, or never mind, the two body shots coming in from Ninjaden. And again, they just win out these rounds pretty cleanly, moving up to 3-0 there, as it looks like they just do have that mechanical skill advantage, and the misplay is definitely not playing into Onto the Stars' hands.
And speaking of misplays, NSB, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but in T2, T3, is this what happens? Do Tracers just blow recall like that for free? I'm not understanding what the initial recall there was for. That was your way out in that McCree duel, and to immediately use it like that is not the best. But we'll see if he can redeem himself here. Back on the Tracer against an Ashe. Definitely an easier duel for the Tracer.
Yeah, Ninjaden just looking at all of these different long-range angles, but probably doesn't expect Onto the Stars to be going all the way around the side yet again, as that sneaky Tracer looking to maybe get around the back end. Is now Ninjaden just getting the rotation. I think the window of time there to get a close-range duel was gone pretty quick, and Onto the Stars just looking for a way to get out onto this high ground, but Ninjaden definitely does have a good position going.
Yeah, Onto the Stars finds the initial damage, and that's a good recall. Now I just want to blink forward, get aggressive before Ninjaden has a ton of time to reposition and just find the blink onto the primary fire and melee, but he does take a dynamite here. Gotta find the high ground there. Gotta find the high ground.
Nice shots there from Ninjaden as well, just being super accurate with the primary fires there on the Ashe, and hitting the dynamite, definitely crucial to winning that one. And we could have our first 5-0 super clean sweep here in the 1v1 tournament hosted by Apollo. And yeah, it's looking very good for Ninjaden to take this top spot in the group.
Yeah, I mean, can we see reverse sweep from Onto the Stars? Played well in the tankier heroes, but with all due respect, getting a little bit outplayed here mechanically from the high damage heroes like the Echo, the Tracers, so on and so forth. But he does opt for the Bastion against another Ashe.
Yeah, definitely looking to get a bit of poke going, but I think the Ashe poke is definitely stronger, as the dynamite almost coming in there, just missing the shot barely is Ninjaden. And
but here's that self-healing we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the self-healing coming in from Onto the Stars. And once again, we kind of see like a similar thing what we saw with Moira and Pharah, right? The slow pokes come in, 4 or 5 small duels, get yourself healed up, get, you know, Ninja to about half health right now, and then keep opting into these fights.
A lot of shots coming through. That Ashe clip is so big. It looks like the final shot is going to come through. We're going to have the clean sweep here from the red side of Ninjaden. And that's definitely very good. Way to make a statement as we move out of this group. And the standings will be finalized for this set of 3 players.
Yeah, definitely a good group stage. Ninjaden just absolutely stomping the group stage there, taking a 5-0 against Onto the Stars, who was able to clean up Lux pretty nicely as well. So definitely showing his dominance there in that group stage. Obviously, he will be one of the players moving to playoffs, and we'll see how he fares there.
Yep, we are going to take a quick intermission as the Group 4 proceedings have wrapped up. We're going to move straight into, hopefully, another group. We'll be able to give you some more of those round-robin matches before we get into the playoffs, but we'll see you on the other side of a short break. Welcome back, everyone, to the Apollo Community 1v1 Tournament. It's going to be Xbox NA Tier 2 players coming at you. We have Group 5 almost ready to go, as we do have the lobby just filling up as we speak. Unicorn, Group 4 was definitely very interesting. Do you think we're going to see closer competition or maybe some more sweeps in this next group coming up?
Well, I definitely think we'll see 1 or 2 standout players that will get maybe not a full 5-0 sweep, but definitely something close where they'll really stand out and be a shining player. But from what I've heard, the inside scoop that we get is the streamer and caster privileges, that we've got a lot of Reddit Lucios, some support players, and either a Hanzo main or 2 from what I've heard and hear. Do you think that'll make a difference with these hero pools that we've seen from Group 4 moving over to Group 5?
I definitely think the players should stick to playing those high health pool heroes and the heroes with that self-healing potential and the high health pools as well. But who knows, maybe those comfort picks on the support or maybe on the Hanzo, as you said, could come out. And I think definitely the better choice would be to run the heroes that do the best in each of these 1v1s hero-wise, but comfort-wise, we could see a few Lucio picks or other supports as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do I think it's possible that you can outplay a Roadhog as a Lucio? Sure. I think Reddit Lucios do it all the time. But to do it in a 1v1 setting where he doesn't have the, you know, another 5 people to focus on your team, I think it becomes a lot more difficult, especially when a close quarters control point is opening up towards the end of the round. So I think you're right. Most players will opt for these high health pools. But, you know, maybe we'll see some pop-off support plays if that Roadhog isn't available, and they can outplay some DPS.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough again in this 1v1 scenario. It's a whole different game, but looks like we are going to start this one up right as we get our final ready up from one of our players. And I guess we can use this time to go over the actual players in our group. We have Jadoni and Celsius playing first, and then we have 3 other people in this group, as this one was larger. The last group we did cast had a few dropouts from it before we actually started, but this one, a full 5-person strong group with J Pepsi, DMR, Pickles, and Union Dupe waiting in the lobby for each of their matches to come up. It should be a very hotly contested 2 spots instead of just the 3 players fighting to see which one of them is going to get knocked out. It's going to be 5 different players fighting to see which 3 of them get knocked out.
Yeah, so this one definitely a lot more cutthroat, but also a lot of time to really make up for a potential loss. Celsius just sending me a message saying the word yes instead of replying in Discord, so I appreciate that. Having to open up that message will obviously tie into you and I's caster bonus that we get after this game. But if you're ready, NSB, we can go ahead and load this one up.
Yep. Everyone good to go here on the streaming side. Just waiting again for those players. But Castillo loading straight up. Again, these maps are going to alternate, and it is first 5 in this group as well. No game settings being switched up at the moment, as looks like game starting up just as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see what they pick here. Once again, J-Doni versus Celsius. Now, I remember seeing a lot of J-Doni in CCC when you and I were doing casts, and even seeing him in the Tier 2 scene. I haven't heard of Celsius. Do you know anything about him?
I believe Celsius is at least a former player for Apollo when I had a brief knowledge of their rosters, and it looks like despite both of them being support players, they have both opted for the Pharah, as J-Doni and Celsius both boosting into the skies. The first rocket hit is going to go the way of Celsius, but J-Doni trades it back. Both direct hits, but J-Doni with a nice fadeaway shot. As those rocket boosters were running out, just got one last rocket into the fight. And takes the
cleans
lead.
it up nicely. Cleans it up nicely. Ducks down under cover there, gets a quick flick to the left as he goes to recharge some of his rocket jet special science fuel, whatever it's called. Gets a good flick there, and we'll see what Celsius opts into to hopefully get a comeback mounted here.
Yeah, as our next round starts, it looks like we're going to see Moira versus Moira. As, yeah, definitely a better hero pool than Pharah for these two players, as they are both support mains, as we noted before. Looks like it's just going to get started with some good old damage, these two players locking straight onto each other, but I think the healing orb was definitely better there from J-Doni to get that bit of support. Now they're both on low health, however J-Doni moves around the pillar nicely, doesn't let Celsius get that room to send out another orb there, and takes it up to 2-0.
Yeah, I thought it was the 11th commandment that Moses came down with. I thought you always threw the healing orb instead of the damage orb in a Moira 1v1. But Celsius, obviously not a religious man, did not read up on that and did not opt for the healing orb, and unfortunately paid for it. J-Doni up 2-0 here as we see a Sigma versus a Sigma.
Yeah, complete mirror matches. These two players definitely know their way around the limited duel game mode, as they're both going to move on to the high ground yet again. It's just going to be a duel of who can shoot the most hyper spears into the other person's shield, and it's going to be just, yeah, again, playing around these corners, seeing which shield is going to break first. I like this move from J-Doni, but the rock goes into a shield, and Celsius is going to gain a bit of shielding from that use of the kinetic grasp. Now their turn to put in the rock, and all the cooldowns forced out from both sides. It looks like we're going to see J-Doni trying to go on the offensive again, and the high ground is claimed by the player in the blue, but the health advantage is going the way of the red. Celsius.
Yeah, definitely, and if you don't mind keeping going for me, whatever's going on, I absolutely trust you, but I am stuck staring at the ground. I don't know what's going on in my game. I have full movement of my controller, but I am stuck staring at the floor of Castillo. So nothing happened within that 5-foot vicinity, I can guarantee everyone that.
Yeah, but on other sides of the map, it does look like Celsius gets the melee final blow there with the Sigma. Definitely better management of the cooldowns there from the red Sigma, and it looks like that's going to be their first point in the match, as we start off this next round. Hopefully going to see a mirror coming out here, as it looks like, no, finally we do see different heroes, and I think the Wrecking Ball is going to have an advantage against J-Doni's Widow.
Yeah, I would say so. It's gonna take. And J-Doni deciding that he had no chance there. And I'm still stuck looking at the floor. Okay, well, my 1v1 is just straight up bugged.
I think we could pause up this match and potentially throw it to a quick break as we get our spectate controls figured out. But on the other side, yeah, J-Doni just deciding that Widow was not the best pick into Wrecking Ball, and they're going to have this Reddit Lucio duel, the highly anticipated duel of the support players in this group stage, and immediately Celsius taking the high ground yet again, but it looks like more shots landing for the side of J-Doni. A nice amp there to get Celsius back in this one. A few headshots, and it could be the win coming in, but just misses the boost. J-Doni gets the final blows and takes the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no controls over Overwatch. I am going to quit the build and come back and join off of you, but keep holding down the fort for me.
Yeah, it's just going to be a quick pause there in the match as we, again, get the spectate controls figured out. And once we get you back in the lobby, we should be ready to go yet again.
Definitely. One quick invite should fix it. There it is. I'm gonna join off of you, and then we should be good to go. Sorry about that, guys. So how did the Lucio 1v1 go?
It was
Describe
definitely
it to
very
me like I'm
close.
listening to the radio.
Yeah, it was definitely very close. Celsius had the advantage for a good majority of that round, but Jay Doney just had control at the very end. Used the amp, I think, a bit better to get the health back instead of just a bit of a speed boost. But that health advantage did pay off as Celsius missed the final few damage points of that boop. And it looks like we're going to see a Bastion versus Mei in our next round.
This should be interesting. Self-sustain from both of them. Obviously, more mobility from the Bastion with that sustain, but a lot more CC on the side of the Mei, as it looks like Jay Doney wants to get aggressive potentially and come for a flank. No, he's just going to wait low ground and see if he can spot Celsius on the Bastion.
Yeah, it's just going to be playing around these different staircases. Celsius does take this nice high ground angle, and I think spots out Jay Doney, gets one little quick tap, but Jay Doney is going to be hiding around these walls, just trying to spot out that Bastion and get a better rotation going. We're just playing these corners pretty well. We'll see if any of these guys does make the first move, though.
Yeah, definitely. Jay Doney trying to play his corner here and see if he can force the Bastion into a close proximity. But if Celsius is taking his vitamins today and his brain's working just fine, I don't foresee that happening until this point unlocks and they're both forced to. And that might be what they're both waiting for.
Yeah, they both could be waiting for this objective to unlock. Here in the middle with the statue, Celsius is going to take a brief form of
your overlay. Your overlay.
And it looks like, yeah, the overlays were done as well.
Just like the radio, guys, like we talked about. We can describe exactly what's going on. Can't you picture it in your head what's happening right now?
Yeah, as we get into this match, actually, it looks like, again, Celsius is going to take the turret form, just camping here, as we're counting closer and closer to the unlocking of this objective.
Yeah, I think Jay Doney waits for... Oh, nope, he looks like he just pushes straight onto point, and now Celsius is going to have to duel him immediately.
Oh, and it looks like Celsius wasn't actually on there. The line barely not being crossed there by the Bastion, as the gun just managed to not poke over and contest that objective. Jay Doney, with the wall and the protection of the statue, able to close out that round and takes us to match point.
Yeah, a slight misplay there from Celsius. I like the idea of what he was going for, try and force out the cryo freeze and then reposition with recon. Hopefully that's what he was planning, but just wasn't quite touching there. And I'll tell you what, in these 1v1s, you barely have a time to realize it because that point capture is so quick as we move on to Brigitte and Tracer.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be on Celsius to get that stun and get the nice damage from the bash, but again, Jay Doney on these long-range fights. With the Tracer, it's going to be a bit tougher, and I think the close-range duel could go either way. It's just up to the shield management of Celsius, who is doing a nice job bringing this closer and closer. We'll see if they can get the bash going as Jay Doney just playing around these corners. Now it looks like we're going to get into close range. A nice blink to dodge out of that bash, and Jay Doney loses the high ground, but Celsius did get a bit of health chunk down there.
Yeah, definitely. Would have been a good time to duel there from Jay Doney, but unfortunately loses the high ground, being forced to dodge that bash like you mentioned. And here's the same kind of poking war. Jay Doney getting some health off of Celsius, but as soon as Celsius is within melee range, he's going to get all that back unless a quick burst comes in from Jay Doney. It's going to be hard for Jay Doney on the Tracer, but I think he can pull it off if he can dodge that bash again.
Yeah, the blink was nice in our last quick skirmish between the two, and that's a lot of damage coming out from Jay Doney there as Celsius looked for the whip shot. Now the Brig is definitely under a lot of pressure. You see the bash coming out, that forces out the recall, and finally the Inspire is charged up, but it's not enough to heal through that clip. Jay Doney does take the win there and did very well towards the end of that match to just keep a streak of rounds going and secure this one.
Yeah, definitely. And here's that flick we were talking about. Good way to push down under some cover. just to get some charge back on your rocket fuel, and then finds the flick. Absolutely beautiful there.
Yeah, great work there from the Pharah player in that case, and mostly on the Tracer and a few other there at the end of that match. And again, Doney is going to be the first one to reach those 5 quick 1v1 duel wins. Going to take a nice start there to the group stage. And yeah, that's definitely going to be the player to beat, as it looks like we're going to move straight into our next match and get this group moving as fast as we can.
Absolutely, and if you want to pass me that leader back, I can swap the players around, and we'll go ahead and jump back into it. As long as I can get some quick R's from the next 2 players, we'll be all set. Let's see here. It looks like we're moving on to J Pepsi DMR versus Pickles. So some new players here, none of the same. We'll see how they fare in Group 5.
And we do have yet another support player in Pickles, and you also have J Pepsi DMR, our first actual DPS main, coming into the match there on the Hanzo. We're also going to be taking a journey back to Eco Point, Antarctica, moving all the way down south as far as you can get, as cold as you can get there. And yeah, once we get those readies from our 2 players, we're going to get straight back into Group 5 action. Anything you'd like to add before we get this one rolling, Unicorn?
No, so you're saying Pickles is a support player. Now, you know what? Just jog my memory here live on stream. I do recognize the name Pickles. Is that another CCC player?
That's actually a moderator in CGL. That's probably where you've seen the name. Definitely one of the more active people in the CGL server. Also played for the Celestial team, and still does, actually. And I believe Celestial did play in the group stage of CCC very briefly, but I think they did end up dropping out. I'm not sure if Pickles was on the squad at that time. J Pepsi DMR, on the other hand, solely a CGL player, I believe, played for the team Cement. And I believe these 2 actually did play on the same squad in the GOATS tournament.
So a bit of a rivalry here, potentially. Perfect. Well, so we've got J Pepsi with his DPS main self. We've got Pickles with the support plays. Now, I think they'll probably opt into some maybe Widow duels, some Ashe duels. But if the Reddit Lucio is available for Pickles, as he does opt for the Zenyatta here, but so does J Pep.
Yeah, definitely being able to see what the hero pools could have been would be nice, as Zen, not necessarily the best 1v1 hero, as it looks like J Pepsi does land 1 in the volley, but Pickles, with the Discord Orb and a few nice headshots coupled with that final blow, Pickles is going to get us started in the lead.
Yeah, that was a quick one. Barely time for Discords to even show up for the 2 Zenyatas. Definitely well played there from Pickles, flexing that support player status there. And let's see what they opt with now. JPEP down 0-1. Hopefully he can find one of his mains here for DPS.
Yeah, and you saw the BM already with a quick few sets of crouches from Pickles, and it looks like J Pepsi moving on to the Echo, and Pickles is going to take the form of the Zarya, just moving through this lower areas. It's definitely going to be the high ground claim from the blue side here of J Pepsi, and looking for some early shots. The beam getting a bit of a tickle going there for Pickles. And I think this bottom area, definitely a very good choice from Pickles, keeping the space close enough where J Pepsi has to poke out and take damage, and there's not any healing available from the Echo here, so just taking this close range poke duel, definitely in the upper hand of Pickles here on the Zarya.
Yeah, this seems difficult for JPEP here. Now, he almost has no choice but to try and push in now, because that's all just a regenerative shield that Pickles is going to get back, and JPEP was already so low, but Pickles is able to take it with a good left trigger followed by the beam. Definitely well played there with the positioning. He takes point of where the control point's going to be, so he takes low to the ground. But where he chooses to take low to the ground is somewhere where J Pepsi can't take the duel unless he gets low enough and off of that high ground in order to get any sort of significant damage in. And he's able to capitalize on that very well, as it looks like they're going to opt for a Torb and a Baptiste. I wanted to see the Hammer versus Hammer, but J Pepsi not letting it happen. J Pepsi's going to see if he can flex on the support BAP here and show Pickles what support really looks like.
Yeah, the turret's already out. It's going to be tough for J Pepsi to get any advantage here, but Pickles doesn't spot out that Baptiste, and a quick 3 shots there onto the Torbjorn. However, the armor does mean that it's going to be almost an even playing field. Taking a different angle with the turret this time, just forcing J Pepsi to get back around that corner. No big cooldowns forced out from the Baptiste so far, so I see this currently as a win for the blue side, and it's going to be tough for them to get into this close range duel though, as Pickles playing the corners nicely, just setting out turrets to a few different locations to see if any damage can come through. And there you see it, a bit of poke gain.
Yeah, the turret definitely being used as a scouting tool right now, and a free little bit of poke. J Pepsi is forced to use the regenerative burst there. He is able to find some damage onto Pickles as Pickles is forced to go orange, excuse me, but the turret's still doing poke damage there.
Yeah, the overload is out, and that's the big utility that you do want to force out, but the turret, just a bit of protection there, as now it looks like the capture area is going to unlock. J Pepsi back to full HP though. The turret is still doing pressure, even from its hard angle there, all the way on the other side of the map. The overload coming out, we'll see if Pickles can finish it off, but J Pepsi with the better shots. Nothing could land there for the Torbjorn, and it looks like Pickles is going to drop his first round here in this match.
Yeah, definitely. And 1-2 here, not a huge deal for J Pepsi. Definitely a good stage to mount a comeback on. Definitely keep the series close there. I liked the bat pick. I liked the way he played it. I think I would have been more aggressive on the turret when it first came out, left side high ground. But what do I know? He plays it correctly. He gets a W by playing low ground on point. And now we're going to see the Ana versus Ana. And I love these duels in SB.
Fight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be better cooldown management. That's going to decide the winner here, as Pickles chucking the grenade all the way up into the top area. It looks like they're both going to look on these long-range sight lines, but J Pepsi not spotting anything decides to fall back behind that little cover there. But now we could see another duel. They're both so close to getting around these corners and getting a few shots onto each other. But for now, they haven't found the angles, and they're just going to be forced to rotate yet again.
Definitely, and I'm first person here with Pickles, you know, the support player for his team respectively. I want to see what he can do on this Ana, see if he can pull something off, as he does find the first shot onto J Pepsi, but gets slept, and J Pepsi wants to push on it.
This could be bad, but we'll see who wins this anti-grenade duel. The sleep just barely missing from Pickles, but he does have the health advantage. That's a nice drop-down shot, and does take the victory there. Despite being slept, it was tough for J Pepsi to get the punish there, as the sleep was so long range. The Ana doesn't really have any mobility to close it down, and Pickles had the other cooldowns ready to go to fire back into that one, and did that very well, as Pickles taking it up 3-1.
Yeah, definitely. Well played there. Oh, do we get the Widow duel? We do. We do. This is what I'm excited for. I want to see these two players go for the Widow duel. Do they opt for the high ground for the grapple shot?
J Pepsi could be looking for it. Doesn't find the angle though onto Pickles. So quick use of the grapple gone there, but we do see Pickles finding the angle, not necessarily landing that very quick scope, but does land the full scoped hit around the corner, gets the shot onto J Pepsi, and puts us on the match point already.
Yeah, match point here. Well played there by Pickles. A good shot, able to peek around that corner. And yeah, I'm with you, chat. Unfortunately, there is a bit of stream lag. We definitely apologize about that. We've got one more round here, then we'll see if we can address it pretty quickly.
That must be on my end.
It's pretty rough, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a frame dropping. We'll get that figured out again once this next round does end off. As we do see the Tracer duel coming out, and they both could have the engage here. Pepsi has the angle, almost gets the one click, forced to recall out though, and they're both back at full HP. Moving around the corner now is J Pepsi, landing a nice clip onto Pickles there, and that few shots could be the victory there, but Pickles getting the recall up, and now we're back almost onto even terms. J Pepsi still with the health advantage, links forward, almost has this one closed out, uses the recall, and finally Pickles is down.
Yeah, J-Pepsi definitely the aggressor there, definitely forcing Pickles to look a little lost on the Tracer. J-Pepsi definitely asserting his dominance and stating that he knows what he's doing in a 1v1 duel that's all about blink management and recall resourcing, and he definitely handled that well, played it very correctly with his blinks, and Pickles did not look good on that one. If J-Pepsi gets more duels that look like that, he'll be able to do a comeback.
Yeah, Pickles does have the advantage in a few situations. We'll see if that advantage is present as the Mei versus Zarya coming out here. And this could be very interesting. I think J-Pepsi is going to be forced into close range despite maybe not wanting to opt for that duel. Pickles is going to move straight forward. One nice shot there from the Zarya, the bubble coming out as well. And yeah, still not seeing this close range engage. Pickles looking for the big icicle shots.
Yeah, Pickles opting for the icicle shots. If I'm him, I just want to get straight up to the Zarya, and it's definitely what he's trying to do. But Pepsi maintaining the high ground until now, where he chooses to fight forward, and Pickles is forced to use both cooldowns there, and he probably wants to play it slow until those are back.
No, instead, just moving straight up onto the high ground again, gets the freeze, not able to land an icicle before that bubble comes out. And now J-Pepsi forced to retreat, gets that shield recharge back up, so 400 health for the Zarya. However, Pickles is also back up to full with the icicle usage.
Yeah, definitely. Pickles just on the hunt here, trying to find J-Pepsi. The bubble's going to have to come out here unless... Oh, no, he misses the left trigger, so that's fine. J-Pepsi has some time to work with. Bubble comes out to stop the freeze, and then Cryo Freeze comes out to stop the damage. Both are going to sustain back here. J-Pepsi going to be at full health again. Does choose to give up the point for now. This is an opportunity for Pickles to try and wall him out and really get a good freeze here. Another bubble.
Defensive wall forced out, and there's just another second left on that cooldown, and unfortunately Pickles is unable to get that ice block in time. And you're maybe seeing a bit of a comeback here as J-Pepsi 2 rounds in a row and pushing us closer to a tied series, but Pickles still on that match point, looking very good in this 1v1. We could see if they do close it out.
Yeah, I think it's all up to the hero pool here for J-Pepsi. I think he definitely has the opportunity to mount a comeback if he can find the right picks. And right now he finds himself in a 1v1 with a Bastion as he opts for the Baptiste.
Yeah, it could definitely be an interesting match. Hopefully, J-Pepsi is able to get the Immortality Field used at the optimal time to get a lot of damage put out onto Pickles. It's most likely going to have to be close range combat, as Pickles is definitely going to win in almost any other fight, and if that Immortality Field is forced out at a bad time, Pickles again is going to have that advantage. As now the Bastion does move out onto the high ground. The long range duel, better shots being hit by Pepsi at the moment, but with this Bastion now in the turret form, it's going to be tough for Pepsi to advance.
Yeah, definitely. Pepsi forced to use his regenerative burst there. Pretty important cooldown for him. He probably wants to play it slow in the meantime, wait for that to come back. But, I mean, call me crazy, NSB, but I think maybe we find a corner and just drop straight onto the Bastion, throw an MO down, and hope we can burst him down in time. Otherwise, this is going to be a very slow game where Pickles is going to have the opportunity to potentially set up high ground as Pepsi moves toward this control point at the end.
Yeah, it's just another game of ring around the rosy here as the Bastion is on the high ground, almost lands a shot there on the Pepsi, who now is going to use those Exo Boots to try and get this close range duel, but is sort of afraid of taking with the Bastion, and I don't blame them, as there's so much burst potential for the robot. As now this objective again close to unlocking. Pickles drops down in this turret form now, and J-Pepsi in a very tough position to get out onto this control point.
Yeah, there's a regenerative burst right here. Just throw the MO and duel him immediately.
Yeah, and that Immortality Field not coming out yet, forcing the health to be regained there by Pickles. But now J-Pepsi has to contest this point full out, dropping the Immortality. Now it's his time to get a few shots in. However, Pickles playing it safe, now using this turret mode yet again. Just playing these pillars really well, and so is Pepsi though, coming close onto this amplification matrix. Could take it on the aggressive as that Immortality Field just has a few seconds left to go. Barely getting around the corner, but Now the configuration tank coming out first. The immortality
Second on
field.
the MO. Oh, no. There
Just
was
barely,
1 second
Pickles.
left on that immortality field. He could have had it there. Maybe MO around the corner, pop a window, and try and burst him down. I think he could have had it there. Just bad timing on that MO.
Yeah, and about the stream lag, in the production here on my side, it's all looking good, but the output to Twitch, maybe not there, as Pickles there with the play of the game. That was definitely very nice. You love to see the quick Discord headshot, and that's so much damage chugged down onto the opposition. It's really tough to get out of that duel there. Pickles almost falling to that comeback, but J Pepsi not able to beat the Bastion out in that super long duel.
Yeah, definitely an extended duel there from both sides, and I think both players playing it well with the resources that they were given. Just once again, unfortunately, timing on that immortality field. If not, if J Pepsi could have won that round, I think we might have seen the comeback there as long as he could find a good hero pool. To the people in the chat, I think we're gonna try and take a quick intermission to get this addressed. NSP is gonna work on his end. I'm not sure what he can or can't do, but I'm assuming we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.
I'm not sure that much can be done on my end, as at least on my side with OBS configured and all of that, everything says running perfectly fine. It could be an error with Twitch and its video encoding, but again, that could potentially be solved as we move into a quick break. We're going to get this next match in Group 5 configured, and there's still a lot of matches to go, as we're going to take you guys to Castillo after a short minute. Welcome back, everyone, and sorry for the delays as we get straight back into the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament. While we were gone, it looks like a few matches had commenced in the background here in Group 5, but we're going to bring you guys straight back in with Celsius versus Pickles. Again, both support players, as the final people standing in our group do play our last matches. We're going to decide who moves on to the next round. In the background, I believe Jadoni did knock out Union Dupe, so we're not going to get to see that player go. And as their group moves on again, we're going to go to Eco Point Antarctica, Pickles versus Celsius.
Yeah, we absolutely are, and we've seen both of these players play. Pickles pulling out a fantastic Zenyatta, really proving his worth on that support there, and Celsius pulling out some good plays previously as well, as they both opt for the Reaper here. Hopefully we can see a good 1v1 where it's going to be all about that Wraith management as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a battle of who can win these close range duels and who can dodge those shots again with the Wraith form, like you said. As it looks like Pickles is going to be under Celsius at the moment, just trying to look for a way up those stairs. Celsius lands the first hit, and it's just a few shots trading back, but Pickles is forced into that Wraith form, comes straight out of it into a blast of the shotgun. Celsius only dropping down half of the health there, so a nice start for the support player there.
Yeah, Pickles falling very low quickly there, is forced to Wraith, and unfortunately Wraith's right as Celsius is going for the reload, which gives him plenty of time to get ready for when he does come out of Wraith, and cleans it up very nicely and with precision there. And we'll see if Pickles can't start to mount a comeback here. Down 1-0, not the biggest deal in the world, but looks like we might see some more mechanical outplays with Widow, or excuse me, not Widow, Echo here.
Yeah, Echo v Echo, definitely very tough for both players to land shots on the airborne robots here. As Pickles actually using the flying abilities there a bit preemptively, but now takes the upper hand here and has to finish off Celsius quick, and he does. That's a nice focusing beam coupled with a bit of sticky bomb damage, and Pickles is back in it.
Yeah, definitely well played there from Pickles. Doesn't actually hit any of the sticky bombs really, but just that primary fire damage followed up by that nasty beam, which will just shred you if you are able to get, what is it, below 40% health, I believe?
I believe it's just under half, but still, yeah, definitely a very deadly beam, a very deadly ability. As we continue here in Group 5, you're going to have a Soldier Mirror, Celsius again versus Pickles. And it's all tied up at 1-1. This one will decide who gets into the lead. And it looks like Pickles trying to get some early shots, but the recoil not paying off well for him, and does actually miss those few shots. Forced to use this biotic field early, and now has to fall back, sprint away as Celsius, he's on the offensive, has the health advantage. Pickles is just running for dear life, turns around for the Helix, but misses, and Celsius is going to take the lead in this 1v1.
Yeah, Celsius on the hunt there, trying to sprint his opponent down. Pickles forced to use that biofield early, like you mentioned, and Celsius just absolutely taking advantage of the lack of heals there for Pickles. Runs him down like a dog in the street. Pickles unfortunately misses that Helix, and Celsius comes out on top there, and also comes out on top of the series for now, as it looks like we'll see a Tracer from Pickles, as well as a Tracer from Celsius. Once again, looking for that recall management. Let's see how it pays off for him.
Yeah, the close range duel yet again. It's prevalent here on Eco Point Antarctica, and it seems like some people have been listening in here on stream to see our insights on the casting booth as Celsius taking an offensive angle. One clips. Wow. And hopefully that was shown in the play of the game there, because all I had was the view of Pickles on my screen just getting absolutely deleted by that one clip. The aggressive 2 blinks into just a bit of domination there from the blue side of Celsius again.
Yeah, well played there. I think he even went for the melee, but at the end of it didn't quite need it. Absolutely fantastic tracking there from Celsius. Unfortunate for Pickles, but he's managed to redeem himself on Ana before. Can he do it again, this time against the Baptiste?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Pickles can put a few back in and get those points counting up back to that drawed point tally here, as it looks like he's going to take the first angle here up on the right side. Sees Celsius, but doesn't land any of those early shots. Actually, Celsius landing a lot there. The sleep dart doesn't land either, and Pickles is in a bad position here. The immortality field is gone, but Celsius on the advantage. But the close biotic grenade shot combo there from Pickles going to give the Ana player the advantage, and I don't think we should doubt this guy when he's on the Ana. He's won 100% of the 1v1s on that hero, but not 100% of the 1v1s in this match, as Celsius still with the lead. We'll see if they can extend that one and bring us to match point.
Yeah, a close series here in favor of Celsius. Does fall to that Baptiste, or excuse me, does fall on the Baptiste here, as it looks like we'll see a McCree versus Ash duel here, and Ash on Celsius wants to play farther back, as Pickles wants to opt for that close range duel. We'll see if it pays off, and I think Pickles playing it correctly here, going ahead and getting inside and trying to find a flashbang combo.
And Celsius absolutely oblivious, but just barely makes the rotation. Hears those footsteps, but it's not going to matter as Pickles getting those close range shots. The coach gun isn't enough to put Celsius in a better spot. Pickles tying it back up.
Yeah, definitely well played from them here on the flank. I think Pickles played that pretty perfectly as far as McCree goes. Pretty loud character as far as footsteps are concerned. Still managed to get up behind Celsius and find the duel, as we're back to 3-3 here as we jump on board with Pickles' Diva and Celsius' Diva as well. We'll see here how much the defense matrix can matter with maintaining the mech, and then how the Baby Diva duel comes out on top.
It looks like, again, they're just both going to move out onto the high ground. Early shots here not going to mean too much in terms of health pools, as not really many of these shots are hitting, as it looks like they've taken an interesting little long-range duel there. They're both around that 400 health range, I believe. The Matrix coming out from Pickles at just the right time, but I think more missiles landing for the side of Celsius. Getting that D-Mech, and still has a good amount of health left. Celsius just getting the nice melee, and that's going to be match point ready to go. We'll see if Pickles can again tie this up.
Yeah, once again, good matrix there on the micro missiles as from Celsius there, as Pickles tried to bring him out, and then once the Baby Diva's there, you just use your mech to boop him, get the melees off, and it was easy pickings after that. But match point here for Celsius. We'll see what he opts for to try and get this win over Pickles.
Yeah, it's all on Pickles here to see if they can stay in this group, stay alive, as it looks like Celsius opting for the Torbjorn. And personally, I think this duel does play out for Celsius, and he could pick up this final point.
Yeah, you play it slow here. You do the same thing that Pickles was doing previously. You throw the Torb turret in an effort to scout. You constantly repair it, which he's doing here. Try and get the poke in. Pickles doesn't take too much damage there. I don't believe he takes any at all, actually. And he's got Celsius a little bit low. See if he can force out that overload quickly, as Celsius wants to go for the hammers.
Oh, but Celsius deciding that the hammer wasn't actually the best idea to get the kill there, and instead going for the huge shotgun blasts with the overload, and that does take Pickles out. Not even time to use any of those cooldowns as Pickles does fall. It was definitely one of the closer matches we've seen so far since the beginning, where we looked at Group 4 real quick. But as we take a look at this nice play from Pickles, landing the headshot, and then from there it was just easy pickings to tie the series up. However, Celsius does take the win in the very end, and does take the advantage here in this group, I believe. But Jaydoni still a force to be reckoned with as we get further along in this group to decide who makes the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely, and we're going to be looking at, for our next one, we were supposed to see Pickles versus Union. Union dropped out, unfortunately, so we're going to be looking at Jaydoni versus Pepsi, who, let's see here, I don't see in our lobby anymore. Let me see if I can ping him and get him in here.
Yeah, as we look for those players, not really too much to talk about, as we have touched on the format of this 1v1 tournament a good amount. However, as we get into playoffs, not sure we're actually going to be able to catch that on my stream, at least, as this event is going on the rather long side. Who knows if we'll be able to catch those playoffs on stream. We might be able to. Again, it depends on how this group plays out and how we get these last round-robin matches going. But again, hopefully we're able to catch the playoffs on stream. But there is the possibility that we're not able to after this next round. But yeah, as we get these next matches figured out and decide who moves forward to playoffs, anything you'd like to add, Unicorn?
No, not necessarily. Just trying to get these players on board, and unfortunately it looks like we don't have a J-Pepsi either, so hey, maybe these group stages are going a little bit faster than we once thought. Because now we go to... I guess we don't have J-Pep or Union Dupe. No Union Dupe for that one, so we jump right on board with Jaydoni versus Pickles, and it looks like that's the last one for this group stage. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you look at it, if we don't have a J-Pepsi, we don't have a Union Dupe, we go all the way to the last one of Jaydoni versus Pickles.
Yeah, that would be the case, as those other players sort of just losing and deciding to, you know, maybe these guys are better than I thought. Maybe I just want to use my time differently on this night, as looks like, yeah, they have dropped out of the bracket. But Pickles, Jaydoni still in it, and these all of these players are super tight with each other, both picking up a win and a loss each, I believe. And yeah, as these group stages are actually coming to a closer conclusion than we thought, going into Castillo for our next match.
Definitely just looking for readies from the next two players, which is going to be Jaydoni and Pickles. I think we still have Pickles here, obviously. Just competed. Let me make sure on Jaydoni as well.
Yeah, and Jaydoni definitely a force to be reckoned with here in this group. I believe undefeated. We didn't catch one or two matches on stream, but I believe Jaydoni did beat Union Dupe earlier as we were trying to reset the stream. And I'm glad it is back, and hopefully we can get this next one underway again. As you said, Unicorn, just looking for the readies on these players. Don't want to send them into a 1v1 that they are not actually there for. But yeah, again, moving on to Castillo, first to 5 series, these players getting ready to do the 1v1s. And do you think that Jaydoni will be able to secure another Castillo victory, or do you think Pickles can get the dub on this sort of unfamiliar turf?
I think Jay Doney has definitely proven to be dominant here. I mean, we did see him, lose a 1v1 to a Baptiste as a wrecking ball, which wasn't the highlight of his career. Unfortunately, the stream didn't catch it for all the world to see. But if he doesn't have any crazy misplays like that, I think Jay Doney's definitely been dominant. But we've seen good plays here from Pickles as well. So hopefully Pickles can mount a comeback here. But it would be a hard one. Jay Doney's definitely dominant so far.
And I believe it's going to have to be a win for Pickles if he wants to stay above Celsius as the other player in the group. I'm not exactly sure of the standings. We'll have to take a look at that after we get the next match going. But yeah, it's definitely good to get this win for both of the players. I think there's a bit more pressure on Pickles to secure the victory here. And yeah, it's definitely going to be high pressure, high stakes to see if which one of these support players can make it to the knockout rounds. Jay Doney might have already secured a spot with the previous performances of that player, but again, Pickles, this is do or die right now. It's the final chance to reach that prestigious stage of the bracket, and hopefully we're able to get this one underway soon. Again, just waiting for those players in the chat.
Yeah, it looks like Jay Doney asked for about 5 minutes here. Pickle says that it's absolutely cool with him. That was just about 2 minutes ago. So we'll give them a few minutes to get their huge secret strats underway for these Castillo 1v1s. But I think you're right. Jay Doney definitely solidifying his spot in these playoffs here and using that first seed, Jay Doney, to kind of determine who follows him into playoffs, whether it be Celsius or whether it be Pickles. And I think Pickles can definitely turn this one around. I think Pickles is more hero pool reliant, though, if that makes sense. He'll be looking for that Ana, he'll be looking for that Zenyatta. If he doesn't get those, definitely a harder time, especially if he meets up with Jay Doney's Pharah up there in the air, which he's proven to be dominant on. But same goes for Pickles. If Jay Doney meets up with Pickles Zenyatta or Pickles Ana, I think it's going to be hard for him as well. I think Pickles is, once again, his victory is more contingent on the hero pool being kind to him, and Jay Doney trying not to find those counters that Pickles could definitely provide.
Yeah, and as we get these players sorted out, again, it's going to... actually, we're just going to get the readies in the chat, I believe, and we'll see if Pickles is still good to go, if those strats are figured out. But it looks like, yep, starting up straight into this match, which could be the final match of the whole group stage, I believe. I don't know the exact status of other groups, but as Group 5 did start a bit later than the others, this could be our potential last match before the knockout rounds.
Yeah, you've got to assume they're done by now. This was a larger group, and some people did back out after taking a couple L's respectively. But we've got Jay Doney versus Pickles here to determine if Pickles can make it over Celsius for the playoffs. And it looks like Jay Doney opting for the Soldier. Pickles going for the Moira here. Hard with the burst damage from Soldier, as we kind of showed earlier when Luxrain went against Stars, I believe. But we'll see if Pickles can turn the tides.
Pickles moving straight through this high ground area, sending out the damage orb, but Jay Doney thinks better of running straight at that one. Pickles fading forward, drops kind of low here, and Jay Doney might drop down with the Helix, barely misses the Helix, and now it's Pickles' chance to shine with this close range healing orb. Extra sustained with the Moira, and the Helix this time landing, but it doesn't quite fell. The Moira player who fades into the side picks up a close range kill there onto Jay Doney, and the round starts off with Pickles getting the much needed win there, and it's just the start of what could potentially be an upset here for Pickles. And it looks like as this next round starts up, Jay Doney on the back foot, however, picking the Tracer up against the Echo. I honestly don't know how this duel is gonna shape out. It's two very different heroes, but We'll see how it plays out. Unicorn, do you have any predictions for this one?
I think what J-Doni is going to have to do is wait for Pickles' fly to be down and then try and push in there. And so you see Pickles goes up in the air now, play it safely, but J-Doni just immediately coming out with the outplay there, barely taking any damage.
Yeah, with the early recall, Pickles had landed a few nice shots at the start, but the utility that Tracer provides with that recall and the bulky hitbox of Echo just free one clips for that Tracer, as so much damage was dished out, even at relatively medium or long range there across the staircase. Pickles unable to drop down in time, and it looks like we're going to get Ana versus Moira. I think Moira's definitely the better hero overall in these 1v1s, but with Pickles showing the early domination on this Ana, it could be very bad. The anti-grenade coming out, but the pure damage of J-Doni just taking Pickles out of the fight early, and now J-Doni in the lead for the first time in this series.
Yeah, I mean, so you saw there a quick miss from Pickles' sleep, and J-Doni having the heads-up play to just immediately realize, alright, sleep is down, who really cares if I get antied? I've got the superior burst damage coming through with the orb followed by the left trigger and then the melee if needed, and he's able to prove that very nicely as he gets a very quick kill on Pickles there. So we see a Baptiste versus Baptiste from both players here.
Yeah, the mirror match coming out. J-Doni immediately taking the high ground, but thinking better of it as now they both move up with the exo boots. Some nice headshots, and Pickles already low, but they both use the regenerative burst, and now they're again taking these duels, but J-Doni, just the superior poke here, already forcing out the immortality field, but Pickles forces another one in return, just waiting for that cooldown to come out, but can't get it off. J-Doni gets the nice volley yet again with that Baptiste, and sort of running away from it, running away with this match. We'll see if Pickles can get yet another comeback to bring it back to 3-3, but then still needs to get it to match point and to that 5th round win.
Yeah, definitely going to have to see what is almost a reverse sweep here from Pickles. He's played well, and he's gotten so close in each of these 1v1s. Now, the Echo versus Tracer, he had some good shots in, but that went a little differently. He's going to have to pull out that morale that he used to get the first round into this Wrecking Ball 1v1 that's gonna have us here for a while, I assume.
Yeah, definitely a very high health pool as Pickles swinging all the way around there, just looking for a chance to pile drive there onto J-Doni, I'm assuming. But, yeah, this ball just currently swinging around actually hits the statue and takes a bit of quick damage from J-Doni, but could be pounding down shortly. Barely misses the pound as J-Doni makes a nice move to get away. However, J-Doni was forced to reload early, and now Pickles again swinging around, just waiting for the opportunity to get a knockoff and potentially a slam there onto the opponent. Looking for it yet again, swinging around, and the shields come out from Pickles. J-Doni with the lower health pool, I believe this could be good for a potential comeback on the side of Pickles, but these shots just landing both ways. This time J-Doni gets the swing, but is forced to retreat behind the staircase. Pickles looking for these final few hits, and he does get them, barely.
5 HP. 5 HP for the side of Pickles to keep him alive in this. A couple misplays there from both sides, but well played as far as headshots go, trying to find the headshot management to really secure the duel in such a high health pool like you mentioned. But Pickles is able to turn that one around, and it's looking better now. 2-3 is a lot less scarier, a lot less scary than 4-1 might be, or especially 5-1, knocking him out of playoffs here. But it looks like J-Doni will opt for the Echo this time, and Pickles on the Sigma.
Fight.
Yeah, back on these aerial heroes is J-Doni, and we've seen what he can do with the Pharah, seen Echo a few times, I believe, as well, and J-Doni, again, has just been dominating on these airborne heroes. And looks like the shielding is there at the start for Pickles, but that shield is going to be knocked down very quickly. You see all cooldowns forced out already, and Pickles running pretty low.
Yeah, both looking pretty low here, but J-Doni able to secure it with that super scary beam. What's it called in this beam? What's that beam called?
Focusing beam, I believe.
The focusing beam thing. able to absolutely murder him there. And you know, Pickles had a good run with the shield on Sigma. He was able to prioritize his primary fire correctly, but I think that rock that landed into that palm tree right in front of him might have connected with Doney, and that unfortunately wrapped it up for him. As soon as that cooldown is done, he's able to pull out that focusing beam like you mentioned and end it pretty quickly. And it looks like to wrap it up here for match point on Doney, he's going to opt for the Diva pick again.
And I believe last time we saw the Diva duel between Pickles and another Diva, Pickles did lose it out. So you have to clutch this one up. It's the final chance. The Matrix is used a bit early, and all of the missiles landing there for Doney. Now Doney has the upper hand, but Pickles with some nice shots to get that Diva out of the mech. Now it's just this close range duel, and Pickles not getting the chance to remech as Doney landing all the shots and winning this series, potentially knocking Pickles out of the playoffs contention.
Play of the game.
Yeah, we'll jump over to Pickles' good play on the Moira to duel what I believe is the Soldier. Yeah, it is. And good prediction here with the fade, but unfortunately not enough to clutch it out here at the end. Very good prediction, actually. And Pickles might fall out of group stages and not make it to playoffs, but such a good play from him. Such a good player overall in this 1v1. Definitely enjoyed having him from what we've seen, and hopefully able to see more, but we'll have to jump into the standings and find out. And if we have time, I'm assuming we'll see more of you guys for playoffs, but we'll have to determine if that is either ready to go or where we're at.
Yeah, we should be able to get playoffs underway soon, but it's just going to take a bit of standings work and work there on the back end to see if these playoffs brackets are ready to go straight away. But for now, we're going to give you guys a short break there on stream, get everything rolling again very soon with the playoffs bracket, and hopefully we get through it all the way. Welcome back, everyone, to the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament. As we conclude the group stages, we're going to head straight into the playoffs, starting you guys with the play-in matches. Again, I am NSB, joined tonight by Unicorn, bringing you the best Tier 2 1v1 action. And moving straight into playoffs, one new face we see in this current match, and that's going to be Rome Treehouse, who actually did help organize the event. Playing against Celsius, who we saw a bit of when we casted Group 5 earlier.
Definitely, and first of all, we definitely appreciate Rome for the work he's done in an effort to get this tournament started, underway, and then obviously the playoffs getting started now. I'm not familiar with Rome or what he plays, but it looks like he's going to demonstrate his May for me today against Celsius's Roadhog. A decently hard matchup for both ends, depending on how well each player performs on their respective hero. Rome looking for some initial right clicks, and Celsius looks like he's playing safe, just wants to scout a little bit for now.
Yeah, Celsius moving out onto this high ground area, maybe looking for a hook, as now they are within range, and the wall is completely gone. Now's the time to hook, but the freeze cancels it, and it's looking pretty bad for the Roadhog here. Has to clutch it up, forces out the ice block, and that's very good. Maybe taking the retreat to get this breather up, and if this hook lands, it could be game over. However, the freeze comes through, a nice close range shot, and Celsius did not have much health back there.
No, definitely not. Ends it with 26 HP. You're right, it was an absolutely devastating hook. The freeze comes through, as does the headshot, but it's not quite enough to finish it off, and it's why it matters so much. If you're not doing it, always learn the melee tech. If you're finishing something up, if someone's close to you, whatever ability you're using, just finish it up with a melee. Definitely would have worked against that hog there. Rome would have lost that if Celsius was able to melee there, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, Celsius took that. Celsius was the hog. Celsius took that 1-0 right there, and now we're going to see the Diva 1v1 between Celsius and Rome.
And I think this does give the advantage to Rome as an off-tank player, and especially a Diva player. You saw in the CGL Tier 1 finals last season, Rome popped off on that Diva role. Now the missiles coming out from both sides. These mechs are so low, and it looks like Celsius is going to go down first, but Rome only had a few health left there on that mech. Getting some early shots here in this baby Diva fight, and now rotating around the pillar. Another nice headshot from Rome, and this could be it right here. Just has to land a few more hits, but Celsius being very elusive. The melee almost lands, but Celsius able to dodge it and get the final shot, and with only 6 HP left, barely closing that one out, and Rome has to be a bit pissed off after losing that round.
Yeah, you've got to kick yourself after that one. Got to walk forward a little bit farther for that melee to work. But, you know, it almost proves in a little bit, in a small way, that coming out of mech second is actually a disadvantage, as your body does kind of go up in that overarching way. The other Baby D.Va able to predict that and get some good shots in. But it looks like we'll see the Baptiste versus Baptiste here. Now, did we mention that Celsius is a DPS player?
Celsius actually plays the support role, so
Okay.
definitely having the advantage in this duel and already landing more early shots. Rome might be forced to use that regenerative burst, but it's not going to heal through the triple headshot. Celsius with another nice play and takes this one to 3-0.
Yeah, definitely well played there from Celsius, able to track perfectly as Rome goes up and over, tries to find that slant on the roof to have some unpredictable movement, but Celsius, not being fooled by it, cleans up perfectly with that triple headshot like you mentioned. And Rome has a bit of a comeback to mount here, down 3-0 early, falling to, you know, a D.Va 1v1 where he was the off-tank player. We'll have to see how he fares on this Reaper.
Yeah, you see Rome using the teleport early. There's not really much teleport can offer in a 1v1 duel, but does land the first hit here. Not much damage is going to be gained at this far range, though, as now the Reapers get up close and personal. Rome again landing the first shot in this quick one. Hits the shot out of the Wraith form, and that was some nice plays. Rome Treehouse showing what he's made of, but it could be potentially a bit too late, as Celsius is already up 3. Again, like you said, that comeback is going to have to come right now.
Yeah, Rome definitely has an uphill battle here, but definitely getting it started on that Reaper, you know, getting your foot into the dirt and starting to work your way up that hill, and we'll see what he chooses to keep trekking with as he opts for the Echo versus the Pharah. Now, I personally believe that Echo is a huge Pharah counter. We'll see if that plays true here as he goes up against Celsius's Pharah.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Celsius on the Pharah very much, but it looks like no shots are going to be landed so far. Rome on this balcony area does take a few indirect rockets, but landing some shots of his own as well, and now the focusing beam coming out. That is where Echo definitely outclasses Pharah with that accuracy and the super high DPS of that utility. And you're right, that's definitely a good counterplay there. And Rome Treehouse getting another round back, looking closer to a tied series.
Yeah, has the opportunity to tie it up here. Definitely choosing the correct hero right there to counter the Pharah. Maybe even predicting it a little bit, maybe in Celsius's head. Let's see if he can do it again as he goes for the Bastion up against the D.Va. This is going to be a bit of a hard 1v1 for Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius is going to have to somehow eat up tons of damage from Rome Treehouse's turret form here, as hopefully the Bastion is able to set up, but it looks like Celsius already on the aggressive angle, doing tons of damage before Rome Treehouse can transform, but now in this turret form, that's where Bastion does his damage the most and does take out Celsius, not even needing to use too many sets of the healing utility, not really forced to back out of that duel, despite Celsius taking the aggressive angle.
Yeah, definitely not. I think what Celsius needed to do there is, I think it was inevitable that he gets demeched, right? I think as you get demeched, what you immediately do is you jump forward almost inside of the Bastion and have just these erratic movements that forces the tracking to go here and there, and, you know, a lot harder to keep up with you, but 150 health is nothing on that Baby D.Va. Celsius definitely did his best there on the D.Va, but Rome coming out on that one as we see both players opt for the Reaper once again.
And this time Celsius getting the upper hand, but it's a nice headshot from Rome to get this all evened up. Landing another shot and gets the final one, barely surviving through that, but that's two Reaper 1v1s going the way of Rome Treehouse, and the comeback is in full swing. We'll see if it's going to be a complete switch up, or maybe on match point Celsius might get that elusive 4th point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Rome is one away from mounting a reverse sweep here. I believe he was down 3-0, and now it's 3-4 in favor of Rome as we see the Reddit Lucios go to battle for what could be match point for the side of Rome. Celsius, the support main, Rome, the off-tank main for their respective teams as they whiz right by each other there. I think we're going to see some nasty plays.
Yeah, both of them trying to get these early hits in, but Rome definitely already with the advantage. I'm surprised Celsius hasn't used this amp yet, but just as I say that, using it to get that speed up onto Rome, and the healing here coming out big for both sides. It looks like Celsius again just trying to wall ride to get these aggressive angles, landing a few headshots, but Rome maintaining this high ground control could be fatal. There it is, the final few shots, and Rome does take the victory here in a complete reverse there. Down 3-0 and just sweeps it back with the 5 points in a row. Celsius, however, with some good plays, but Rome showing what he's made of here in this knockout stage.
Yeah, and Celsius demonstrating one of those good plays here. Such a good player that we've seen. You know, Rome coming back, especially on the Lucio, proving you don't have to be flashy. I can sit still and track it just as well as you can ride around walls and go backwards and all this crazy stuff. I can track, I can hit the combo correctly, and comes out on top of that 1v1 there. Well played by Rome.
Yeah, definitely a nice comeback, and that's one of the highlights of this player's run through the bracket. But I believe we have another match coming right up. We'll see if the players are good to go.
Just trying to find out who's next at this point. I don't know if Rome plays another one since he advances in playoffs, or if we go to another set of play-ins. I'm trying to figure out what happens here.
And I believe we're going to get our next play-in match, and then from there it'll be decided if we continue into our quarterfinals. As the match you just saw, again, that was the play-in match for the quarterfinals. Rome hadn't taken that top seed, and I believe Celsius hadn't either, so both of them fighting for a way in to that knockout bracket, actually. So it's going to be a long run through here for Rome after that victory, but again, just trying to figure out our next match, and looking back on that one, we've definitely gained some knowledge, and looking back over the bracket entirely, we've definitely seen what works and seen what doesn't work, and it looks like we have our next match possibly figured out. As, yeah, again, Celsius just barely losing out on that one to the comeback. And any overarching themes you'd want to note, Unicorn, that could give these players an advantage in these playoffs matches?
Well, I think what we've seen is even, and very much so, barely speaking, because Hog is definitely a force to be reckoned with in its own, no matter what player it's in the hands of. But what we've seen throughout some of these is, instead of opting for the DPS pick, or especially, you know, Jay Doney opting for the ball and getting destroyed by, I believe it was Union's BAP there. You know, sometimes opting for your main instead of the larger health pools does allow for you to get those outplays, and determining that in such a small window of picking 3 heroes is definitely a hard thing to achieve. But, you know, sometimes you go with your gut, sometimes you go with who you know you're good at rather than who you know the counter would be, and we've seen those outplays pop up. It's just, can they continue to do so as we go farther into the tournament, you know, get to the better players, and as we jump into the semifinals and even finals at the very end, you know, are the players too much to be reckoned with no matter what hero they're on, rather than just opting for your main?
And yeah, again, just trying to figure out this next match as the players are deep in their discussions, and if we take a look at the bracket, it looks like we only have one more play-in match to go. So I believe that could potentially be the last match of the night, at least on stream, as again, these players are just figuring out if they do want to keep it going and keep these 1v1 brackets moving all the way through, as again, just figuring out this next match. We might send it to a break if we don't get the players in soon, but it looks like our lobby is relatively full, and we have at least one of the players ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like it might be Munching versus some guy named Humpty. which I'm not familiar with, but we've got quite a few people in here. I don't see that name on my list, so we're going to keep waiting here for a couple seconds. But obviously, Munching, if you're familiar with the CGL scene, CCC scene, Munching definitely a big name there. I'm not sure what specifically he plays, but a pretty famous name as far as the T2 and T3 scenes go.
Yeah, and definitely Munching, known for that very old clip of the 6-kill boop on Volskaya Industries. Only the people who have been here for a long time remember that one, but it's definitely an iconic moment of console Overwatch there. So we'll see if Munching Carrot, yet another Lucio player in this 1v1 tournament. I think I see a trend here. We'll see if this Lucio can top all of the other Lucios, as we're still waiting for that opponent to arrive. But with the conclusion of this upcoming match, I believe that's going to do it for the night. So you guys definitely want to stick around as we get this one coming soon.
Yeah, gonna have this last one here, and we'll see what happens after. Just once again waiting for the lone stranger, the mystery man Humpty, to jump in, and we'll obviously be going to Castillo. Definitely a DPS oriented map as far as 1v1s go. I think Eco Point can trend toward the tank side just a little bit with better angles to reach someone on, but with high ground being so dominant on Castillo, definitely favors DPS a little bit more. What are you looking for here on Castillo? Any surprisingly, any deceitful picks on what could work? Deceptive as far as, winning a 1v1, or do we just stick to the basics and always lock in hog here?
I think, yeah, definitely you can go for what's worked throughout this entire bracket, but I do want to see a bit of rotations coming out, because I think every single match on Castillo, I haven't really seen either player opt for going through the left side. I believe it is the side where all of the music plays at. It's definitely more close range, so we could see some players decide to take those close range heroes and try and bring it up close into the far side of the map. That could be a potential rotation that comes out, as it looks like we are still getting our player into the lobby. Everyone else, I believe, is here, even if they aren't quite playing yet. But, yeah, just still figuring out stuff as we speak.
And there he is. As we speak, he arrives as if summoned. Let's go and put him here. See if I can produce some quick R's from these two opponents, Munching Carrot and Mega Humpty. And if so, we'll jump right in here.
Yeah, again, once we get those readies from the two players, this will be our last match of the night, but we're going to continue with the playoffs as soon as we can. I believe they're just still talking about that, and I think the plan is going to be everyone doing the rest of the bracket tomorrow. We'll see how that works out, but yeah, definitely the group stages did run pretty long, but enough about the group stages. We're going to give you another play-in match here for the playoffs, as we're shaping up into the quarterfinals, loading up Castillo yet again for Munching Carrot versus Mega Humpty.
Yeah, definitely. And, as you mentioned, whether you opt for that coast side, whether you opt for the close range side where the music comes from, definitely depends on the pick. Do we see a Reaper? Do we see a Far, where you just want to play up in the air, in the middle? We'll have to see what these two decide. Do you have an inside scoop on Mega Humpty? I'm not sure what position he would normally play.
Well, yeah, so we do know Munching Carrot, another support player, another Lucio player to be exact, but Mega Humpty, more of a hit scan player. So it looks like we see the Ash duel. That's going to favor this man holding down the blue side, already looking for an early shot, but with that coach gun, Munching Carrot's gonna barely dodge out of the way. Munching Carrot does have the high ground and is able to land 2 shots actually there. So now a big disadvantage here for Mega Humpty. He's looking to get it in close range, but a nice prediction. Munchin Carrot starting it off very strong on a hero he's not necessarily known for in this match, but yeah, definitely a good start.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was an audio cue for Munching, if that was just good prediction work on his end, but a beautiful dynamite followed by the primary fire to detonate it in order to predict Mega Humpty and take that 1v1 win without really ever having to get into much of a duel with him, as it looks like they'll probably, yeah, there's the Widow 1v1 duel. This is what we live for.
Fight.
And it looks like both of them preferring to play it safe. Munchin Carrot not necessarily landing that grapple as well as he would have expected, as now Mega Humpty walking up those stairs on the back angle. We could see a fight break out in close range if Munchin Carrot continues this rotation closer and closer to Mega Humpty. Still hasn't spotted out the other Widow yet and is going for yet another grapple shot just to get some scouting done, but still doesn't find this angle, as now Mega Humpty, he sees the shot, he has it lined up, gets Munchin Carrot, and it's all tied up.
Yeah, I was hoping for a reposition there from Munching. Being a Widow main myself, if you see that sight line and you know they're looking at you, it's definitely not something you can get away with peeking unless you have some crazy trick up your sleeve. But he doesn't. He does opt for the pick and unfortunately falls pretty quickly to Mega Humpty, as we're all tied up 1-1 here.
Yeah, and the hit scan prowess of Mega Humpty definitely going after that first round seems like a bit of a warm-up, but we're going to have the Torbjorn duel. If they hammer this one out, it could be very interesting, and it looks like they might actually go for the hammer duel, as Munchin Carrot does land the first hit. Mega Humpty, he has something that he has to do. He gets the dodge, and in a completely unagreed upon hammer duel, it looks like Mega Humpty does take the lead.
Select your hero.
Yeah, Mega Humpty gets the quick dodge on 2 of those hammers, actually. And despite being low health, is able to clutch it out against Munching. They even agreed not to go for the overload there, which I thought was strange. I thought that was fair play in the hammer duel, but they tend to disagree. And as you said, completely unspoken on their end, as it looks like we have the Lucio Reddit duel that we've all been hoping for.
Fight.
Yeah, and this could definitely favor Munchin Carrot, as he's already wall rode all the way around the tower, make that 2 times, just taking us all in a tornado of wall rides here on stream. Looking for the aggressive play now as they both group each other back. Mega Humpty now trying to get around as the statue positioning is taken. Again, they both land boots onto each other. Mega Humpty hasn't swapped to the heels yet. Neither has Munchin Carrot, I believe. So they are playing this one fair yet again. Just who can get the more shots, not who can play it the safest and who can retreat the fastest. Munchin Carrot getting up close and personal, lands the combo, and ties us up here at 2-2.
Yeah, hits the good combo there, goes for the 3 primary fire boop, hits 2 of them, and then the boop, and it's just enough to be able to clean it up as he was falling low health himself. Once again, not sure if they're in a party together, but definitely agreeing on some unspoken rules here as far as no heals, no amps unless it's for speed boost. And you know what? They're men of their words, they're sticking to it, and they're able to clutch it out here on the side of Munching, as they both have both opt for Baptiste here as well. Maybe we'll see no MO, you never know.
Yeah, they could be just agreeing on these pure mechanical skill duels and the pure positional advantages with each other, as both players getting a few early hits. However, Munchin Carrot landing a few more, completely taking out Mega Humpty with just 2 little bursts there at the end, and puts himself in the lead yet again. We saw Munchin Carrot starting it off strong, and after Mega Humpty got a few rounds back, Munchin Carrot again looking pretty good, looking in control of this series. We'll see if that continues though, because Mega Humpty, if he wins this next round, could tie it up.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows what we'll see here with Honor, right? Or Honor versus Brigitte. This is definitely not in favor of Munching if Mega Humpty can get in your face as that Brigitte, but Munching, I'm sure, is opt to not let that happen, as he already fails that and the sleep is missed.
And And it looks like a bit of shield damage going onto Mega Humpty, but now he's going to drop down. It's a nice dodge there from Munching Carrot to get all the way up the stairs in that quick of a time period. And now he has the high ground over Mega Humpty, who's just looking for a bit of a flail. Knocks Munching Carrot into the tree, and now this Inspire is up. However, the anti-grenade, it's nice. Blocking that sleep there is Mega Humpty. Now it's his chance to move forward with the bash, and they actually do draw. Our first draw of the Apollo 1v1 tournament goes the way of Mega Humpty and Munching Carrot there. Neither of them do take the point in that round, and I was expecting a shield bash there from Mega Humpty and then just following it up after the stun, but trying to get that nice flail hit, and it does backfire in the end as Munching Carrot was able to land that last shot as well.
Yeah, is able to clutch out the duel. I mean, I will say good patience on the side of the Brigida there to hold the shield up, wait for that anti to be negated, and for that time to run out, as it looks like they'll both opt for the Ash here, and Mega Humpty's definitely going to want to redeem himself after the last one.
This time the Dynamite doesn't hit, and neither does the one coming out of Mega Humpty, and now it's just this duel out in the open. Who can hit more shots? It's going to be Munching Carrot again on this Ash, taking us to match point, and it's crucial these next few rounds. Mega Humpty has to win to get that play-in match dub and to get himself in playoffs. And it's got to be a clean 3 rounds in a row, or else Munching Carrot is going to take that spot.
Yeah, Munching Carrot definitely feeling confident here, having bested Mega Humpty on his proficiency hero, that Ash with the hit scan, not once but twice, as it looks like to wrap it up here for the side of Munching, he's going to try and do it with a Doom Fist.
Yeah, Mega Humpty has to clutch this one up, has to get the bigger punches, the bigger slams, and uppercuts, as it looks like he does fall off the high ground, both choosing not to use that punch, and doing it smartly, as there's not really much that can be gained from punching at different altitudes. However, Mega Humpty's punch hitting the tree, and Munching Carrot now has the advantage, gets the slam uppercut combo, and the support player of Munching Carrot looking like a DPS god there at the end, getting 2 round wins on the Ash, and then finishing it off with some nice plays on the Doomfist. Munching Carrot, I think this guy's going to go far in the brackets for sure.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to do well. I mean, proving right there on Doomfist as we watch this play of the game from him as well. But right there on the Doomfist, using a little bit of unpredictability, right? Going around the right side of the of that initial tower, rather than going for the straight up fist duel for the punch, and that leads him up to the slam and the uppercut to finish up the combo. Definitely outplayed Mega there, as it looks like that might do us for play-ins for now.
Yeah, that's going to be our last play-in match, and I believe we are going to continue with the quarterfinals for tomorrow, I believe. And yeah, just figuring that out real quick, I think we're most likely going to see the quarterfinals continuing at a later date. Could be tomorrow, could be some other time, who knows. But as those play-in matches conclude, quarterfinals all shaped up and ready to go. I think that is going to do it for today. Just got to check in real quick, but it's been a long ride. It's been a good set of matches the whole way through. Anything you'd like to say about this bracket so far, Unicorn, as we're just getting down to the big matches?
Yeah, I mean, just getting started with the ones that are really going to matter here. I mean, we've seen fantastic plays from some great players, good sportsmanship as well in these Discords. Nothing but GGs and lulls thrown out afterwards. Definitely a friendly competition of a good bunch of friends. But we do apologize about the discombobulation as well. I mean, with these tournaments, you try and get everything figured out, but, you know, different people have different things going on. We are all people in a weird stage in the world, that's for sure. But, you know, with these 1v1s, I think we're seeing that these support players are a lot more versatile than people claim them to be. You know, Munching Carrot really popping up on the DPS, and I think what that chalks up to is as you play a support player, you really, in a lot of games, get almost a third person or a bird's eye view on what goes on throughout the entirety of a game and trying to keep people up and, and/or speed people in throughout it. And you really learn the specific nuances of not only the enemy team, but in a lot of cases, your team as well. And that leads you to winning these 1v1s if you know your team's play style. And learning your friend's play style really can add up to a win here, as Munching Carrot is proving. And hopefully he continues taking that and can lead him to maybe ending up in the finals or winning the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely some players we've seen pull out big wins in specific rounds and big wins overall. You saw the comeback from Rome there in our first play-in match, and it looks like that is going to do it for tonight. As you guys already saw, these playoffs matches are going to be so intense. All of these players who have made it this far in the tournament throughout the entirety of the group stage, they are the best here in this Tier 2 scene. And that's going to do it for tonight, though. As we wrap this one up, a big shout out to everyone who's watched the stream throughout the bumpy road, as you said, Unicorn, as we did have some stream issues as we switched up the groups. But yep, that's going to conclude it for tonight. Again, also thanks to the followers, the new people who showed up in chat today. Thanks for the support as well. And of course, thanks for joining me tonight on the casting booth, Unicorn. Always great to have you around. We'll see you guys later. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second day of the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament. Today it's going to be the playoffs, beginning with our quarterfinals match between Culinary Sleet and Rome Treehouse. I am NSB, and I'm joined tonight by Unicorn. How are you doing on this another beautiful night?
NSB, I'm doing great. I sure do appreciate you asking. Another day in paradise where we get to watch two skilled players go off against each other in some 1v1s here. And this is playoffs, right? This comes down to all the marbles. We're talking $30. We're talking Discord Nitro. I'm excited to see these two get into it. I've got some readies from them in the Discord chat. If you're ready to go, I am as well.
Yeah, and of course, as we take a look at our bracket here on stream, we already had one quarterfinals match be forfeited earlier. So the other three quarterfinal matches, they're going to come first. Of course, we're starting at the top of this bracket. It's going to be a 1-to-5 match, and it's going to alternate between the Castillo maps and the map of Eco Point Antarctica. And it's a limited duel, as you guys saw yesterday on stream. So they're going to get a selection of 3 heroes that they have to decide which one is the best for this 1v1. But other than that, not much to say. Again, both of these players are ready, so we're going to boot it straight up.
Yeah, we definitely are. And in these limited hero pools, from what we saw yesterday, what's going to matter so much is your selection that you have to make within that limited time frame available to them. They have to make decisions on what counters what. Is self-heal more important than raw burst? A lot of decisions to make in a very short time frame. And from what we've seen, NSV, that seems to be the difference maker. Those decisions, as well as the mechanical skill that goes into playing them, transitions into the 1v1.
Yeah, and of course, yesterday, as we saw as well, those decisions can make a huge impact, as just playing the right heroes means everything. And as this one starts out, you're going to have a Reaper 1v1. We saw a bit of Rome yesterday, but we haven't gotten the chance to cast Culinary Sleet. They are a DPS player, so they might have the advantage in this Reaper battle.
Yeah, Culinary Sleet, definitely the DPS player to look for here. I know Rome Treehouse is an off-tank, but in this mirror match with Reaper, it's all about the Wraith management, as it looks like Culinary has the high ground here as a slight advantage, and Rome may want to teleport up there. He definitely does so as this fight breaks out.
Yeah, and a few early hits. Rome hasn't been able to hit back strongly, but just as I say that, a nice headshot, and that just absolutely deletes the hero pool of Sleet. And that's going to take Rome up 1-0 in this round, but I'm sure we haven't gotten to see much from both of these sides, and it could very well swing back the other way.
Yeah, it could, and from what we've seen from Rome Treehouse, not only is he capable of a comeback from what we saw yesterday, he's capable of maintaining a lead and riding it out all the way to even close to 5-0 sweeps here, as he does opt for the Soldier, and so does Culinary here, as we see another mirror matchup coming into Castillo.
And it looks like Rome is going to take the angle on the left area as Culinary moves back up the staircase. That's a nice little bit of damage from the Helix. Not quite a direct hit, but still forcing Rome to retreat behind these corners and use that biotic field. And now it's just going to be a battle of rotations. Who makes the first move here? I think maybe it's going to be Culinary's fleet, as again, they move up to the high ground, but haven't been able to spot out the opponent in the red.
Yeah, Culinary definitely with the advantage right now with the high ground. Sounds like he does hear some footsteps over there. Definitely wants to check these stairs. He does. Immediately gets the Helix Rocket with the burst. Drops the biofield. Tries to wrap around. Loses Rome Treehouse there for a bit. Now Rome has the advantage inside of the biofield. Will it be able to pay off? As it looks like Culinary just wants to back up here.
Oh, and it looks like Rome thought Culinary was around the other corner, had a safe retreat, but no, Culinary was waiting right at the edge there and caught Rome as he made his move across the middle of Castillo there. And that's going to be the match all tied up. Two very quick 1v1s, and both of these players taking very aggressive angles on each other. But Culinary so far has been able to get the better positioning. Do you think that's going to continue as we load up our next heroes?
He's definitely maintained high ground for a longer period of time, and even though he almost lost it there by giving it up from a slight juke there from Rome Treehouse, we'll see how he's able to manage it, because he's going to have a lot to work with here as a Winston versus a Mei as he opts for the tankier build.
Yeah, and the bubble already coming out, so Rome just going to be looking for some quick icicles as Culinary dances in and out around those corners. Might be going in for the freeze move, and it's up to one of these people to just engage on the close range battle. The jump just missing barely, and Culinary's going to be forced off this high ground to wait for those cooldowns and to wait for the shield to get back. So again, a bit of a stalemate, but Rome taking it up and personal here with that icicle, getting the first hit as Culinary again jumps up, is forced back by these icicles, and Rome definitely has the advantage. Moving forward, gets the freeze right as the jump activates, and again, Culinary just forced to retreat. This hero pool being chunked down, and there's no self-heals available.
Yeah, it looks like Culinary here just getting frozen left and right as the left triggers come in from Rome Treehouse, and I think he was at a disadvantage from the second that started. You know, the tick damage from Winston is just not able to match up to Rome Treehouse's burst damage into the freeze from, you know, getting up close and personal, which is all that Winston wants to do. Definitely a good counter there from Rome Treehouse as he goes up 2-1.
Yeah, and the counterplay definitely available there for Rome. We'll see if it comes out in our next round, as it looks like it's going to be one Tracer versus a second Tracer. And these duels are definitely very impressive to watch, so I'm looking forward to it as these two players move up to the high ground. Culinary Sleet gets a bit of poke, but it's not going to matter too much. Rome takes the blink around the side, and they lose each other for a second, but Culinary definitely with more damage coming out. Now there's no recalls available, so this could get very ugly very quick. The health regain not an option anymore for these two Tracers. They're just blinking around the statues. Culinary again getting a few more hits, forcing out the early recall yet again from Rome. And now Culinary definitely has the advantage. Barely can't get the shots done, but a nice flick. And that's going to do it for our next round. It's 2-2, and this is just looking so close here for him.
Yeah, absolutely close, but I'll tell you what, Culinary looked a lot more comfortable on the Tracer there. I think he had better blink management. There was a lot of times where Rome was down to 1 blink or even at times 0 blinks, and as you mentioned, having to force those recalls out early is just so crucial in that 1v1, where health regeneration in the form of a recall is what wins the 1v1. But we'll see here as we are practically tied up here, definitely neck and neck. It looks like we're going to run into Culinary's Hanzo versus Rome's Sigma. Now this should be interesting.
Yeah, and that's where you can definitely note the two players' different play styles. One, a DPS player, one, an off-tank, and they're both on their most comfortable roles. But Rome definitely has the advantage, getting super close, hitting 2 hyperspheres, but a nice headshot in super close range. Culinary taking the lead in this series.
Yeah, that was a fantastic shot by Culinary when it was definitely down to the wire. A primary fire from the Sigma as well as the melee would have cleaned it up, but he's able to clutch it out with that good 1v1. Definitely doesn't play too much into the Sigma eat to where he doesn't add too much health onto the Sigma player there. Able to clutch it out there. That was very impressive.
And now Rowan going to be moving on to this soldier, taking the complete mirror match with Culinary. And early Helix is coming out from both sides, but Rome landing that one first. And Culinary, though, taking the aggressive angle. Both biotic fields are down. And again, Rome's Helix hits, and that's going to give him the advantage. Gets the nice melee, the beatdown kill. Helix jumps off of Culinary's dead body to end off that round and tie it up yet again.
Yeah, weird neck and neck here. Definitely good play from both soldier players there. Rome got down early in health, was able to pull the biofield out, play his natural structures, and then end up clutching it out there. I like to see that from any soldier player who can deal with that sustain and come out with higher burst damage. As it looks like we're going to see Rome's Orisa versus Culinary's Orisa. Now, we're going to be here for a while. If you haven't, go take this time, grab yourself a snack, grab your pillow. This is going to be a long one.
Yeah, it could definitely be a very long battle between these two Orisa players, even with the amount of damage Orisa deals and the amount of ammo she has. There's just going to be shields nonstop as you see these two just sort of dancing around them. However, Culinary low already and does fall. A quicker Orisa duel than I've ever seen. It gives Rome the lead yet again.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and I'm surprised there. I expected Rome to lose it as the Fortify came out a little bit too quickly, in my opinion. But what he does is he places his shield in front of Culinary's shield, and then he's able to move forward. Obviously, the shield dance we all know and love from the Orisa, bob and weave until you get the headshots in. And Rome is able to pull that out. That was definitely impressive, and when I believe we move on to match point here.
Yeah, it's going to be match point as they take a May duel here, mirrored yet again as they look for those early icicles. It's going to be all up to Rome to get this final score point here as the ice block comes out early, but that's a lot of freeze there. Both walls forced out, and quickly these two players are going to get a little breather. Culinary with the freeze gets the headshot and ties it up. We're all on match point, and this is going so far back and forth. Who do you think pulls it out in the end here?
Select your hero.
I think I'm more confident in Rome Treehouse here. He's been able to sustain himself in some of these 1v1s where they have gotten close. I feel like in this specific tournament setting, he's got a better head on his shoulders for the pressure. And if he can get a hero pool that he's comfortable with, he's definitely proven to be dominant.
And again, we see the May. It's going to be coupled with yet another May. So this could go the way of Culinary as they did win the duel last time, but it looks like Rome again going to take the move around the far edge. Could be forcing a close duel at the start, but it looks like Culinary taking the rotation again to the high ground. That's a nice icicle there, right in between the gap from Rome, and it could force out an early ice block, but Culinary deciding not to use that cooldown quite yet, even though they are pretty far range from each other.
Yeah, I would go ahead and pop it here before things get close range. Even if you pop it now, you have plenty of time to run away before Rome can get to you. But instead, he's going to enter this with about 65% health, as it looks like Rome wants to jump on him immediately.
And it looks like the freeze coming through, but Culinary unable to get the icicle before Rome escapes. And now Rome maybe with the advantage, but Culinary drops again, yet again gets the freeze, and is going to get the icicle this time around. Barely taking that one in the closest match we've seen so far in this 1v1 tournament. And if this match is a testament for what we're going to see further along in playoffs, I'm definitely on board.
Yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. Culinary definitely clutching it out in the first game he's been on stream with you and I, and he was able to pull it out here, especially with the soldier, getting juked a little bit, but able to find the helix, able to find the sustained damage there to tickle Rome on down on the soldier, and very well played on the May 1v1s. We doubted him on the ice block like you mentioned, but even with that lack of health and the late cryo freeze, he was able to pull it out.
Definitely able to get the freeze quicker than Rome 2 times around there. And it looks like that's going to do it for our first match. We're going to move to Eco Point Antarctica for our second as we just get the lobby figured out yet again. We do have a good number of players waiting for their upcoming matches, but we're going to get straight into the next quarterfinal. I believe that is going to be Jay Doney moving into the match, and our second player is going to be just Ace.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen a lot of Jay Doney here, and he's proven to be dominant in these 1v1s. We haven't seen just Ace, but if they're a testament to being in playoffs, I hope we see another close one. But I think Jay Doney might be, at least in my opinion, from the players that you and I have seen, the #1 seed going into this tournament.
Yeah, definitely one of the better players we've seen so far. Very flexible and just a lot of knowledge at what to pick and when. So it's going to be a challenge for Ace here, who is another DPS player. And we're just going to be waiting for these two players to get ready for their upcoming match, to get all these nerves settled as they move into the elimination rounds. It's do or die for each of these players. Forgot to mention it early, but if you lose a single one of these matches, you are going straight home.
Yeah, definitely. Single elimination here onto these playoffs. And just as we say that, we do have both players ready. NSB, you ready to jump on Eco Point?
For sure.
Let's do it.
And as we move into our upcoming match, again, it's going to be Jay Doney versus Just Ace. Jay Doney, more of a support player, but definitely showing the flex potential in the previous matches we saw on stream. It's going to be Just Ace taking up the DPS role yet again. It's going to be a 1st to 5 on Eco Point Antarctica as it loads up. Let's see our first impressions of these two players, as it looks like they're going to be assembling their heroes just now.
And jumping into this, it feels like Jay Doney, it's almost a head game of him being a support player, right? He's come out on these DPS, and he's, out 1v1 people on the Pharah. We've seen him out echo people a few times. And now he's going to have to deal with a Tracer with him playing D.Va. He's got the health pool, but is the DM going to be timed perfectly enough for those blinks and those reloads?
Yeah, I think if Just Ace plays this right, can manage the recall really well. Should be able to chunk Jay Doney down out of that mech, but once the mech is eliminated, there is also the baby D.Va that you do have to deal with. You see Just Ace just bobbing and weaving. There isn't really much damage coming out, and Jay Doney is forced to engage up close. The recall is gone, and now Just Ace in a bit of an issue here with only 20 health. Jay Doney is able to get the finishing blow there with the headshot coming out of the mech. It was definitely a close one. But
yeah, definitely
our
was.
higher seeds starting it off.
Yeah, what I wanted to see from Just Ace there is, okay, we got the DMEC, right? Let's use the rest of our blinks to go ahead and retreat. Let's wait for our recall to be back off cooldown, and then we re-engage, try and get some quick damage onto the baby D.Va before she can get the remake, the remake, recall any damage that she does, and then go right back in. I think that would have been the better call, but it's definitely a long game. Instead, opts for the short game, and we'll see how it pays off as he's down 0-1 into a McCree mirror match.
Yeah, and this should favor Ace, as Ace is known for the hit scan play, as they're both just on opposite sides of the map, haven't spotted each other out, playing the corners very nicely to start this one off. Our first shot of the engage, as both of these McCrees still looking for a way around. Jay Doney getting the first blow, so now Just Ace is going to have to make a risky play, but again, these nice hits from Jay Doney. One fired back by Just Ace, make it 2, but Jay Doney had so much of an advantage with that headshot. It was tough for Ace to get anything back at him. And Jay Doney is going to be taking it up to 2-0.
Yeah, like we talked about, I mean, Jay Doney really popping off on this DPS, showing that I may be the BAP, I may be the Ana player, but if I'm not healing, I'm DPSing just as equally, and he's proven that here in this 1v1. Definitely a hard comeback for Just Ace there, and he's looking at another hard one for the whole series as he's down 0-2.
Now it looks like we're going to see a Doomfist versus a Baptiste. Jay Doney now on the comfort pick instead of this damage roll that he was being forced to play earlier with the limited hero selections. Looks like again Jay Doney is going to start it off, and Just Ace is going to have a super hard time getting this duel up close where Doomfist shines.
Yeah, and I mean, in a perfect matchup, this should be almost impossible for a BAP to win. A good combo from Doomfist lands you above the immortality field that you want to throw at your feet, but he just doesn't even have time to get to Jay Doney as the quick triple headshot comes in after some immense poke damage from across the map as Just Ace was trying to scout, and Jay Doney comes off of that. He's 3-0 right now.
yeah, it's looking very good from the player in the blue, and Just Ace really hasn't been able to get these close range duels that I think he probably is looking for based on the current play style. So we'll see if on our next duel we can bring it close range. I'm definitely expecting it with Reaper and Torbjorn.
Yeah, Reaper Torb, you know, if I'm JDoney here, I am playing my angles as safely as possible. I'm staying across the map from this Reaper, and I'm just trying to poke him down with headshots until he wants to get near me. Then, as you mentioned, we're popping that overload, and then we're getting right in the brink of it as close as we can, and hoping that the lifesteal doesn't add up to the turret damage and the shotgun.
And it looks like JDoney might have missed Just Ace there in the corner, but it looks like now, looking back, he does find that Reaper just poking out for a quick teleport. Now Just Ace trying to rotate around the other end. JDoney just sitting with this turret. I really like the angle being played. It's all the way out on the high ground, out in the open area, and Just Ace is going to have a tough time moving forward, forced to wraith around this corner to get yet another positional angle.
Yeah, and maybe he's playing this correctly, right? Maybe for Just Ace, it's the long game. We're just camping. We're not doing anything extravagant until the point opens up, and then we're forcing JDoney on the Torbjorn to come to us and scrap on the point. Play the middle pillar for the structure, but he's going to go right in there.
The overload forced out, but the turret is going to get the final blow onto Just Ace. A shot in the back gives JDoney a match point lead. We could see a clean sweep here, but it was definitely looking closer there. JDoney's health pool was not high by any means like we saw in the last few rounds. So if now is the time to lose a round, Just Ace is definitely going to take that opportunity. And it needs to happen right now. There needs to be some sort of crazy comeback or JDoney is going to take this series.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, you got to assume JDoney's on a comfort pick. The support player finds the Zenyatta, and Just Ace decides to match it. So we'll see how it turns out.
And they're both going to move onto their respective high grounds. Both Discords landing on each other and just trying to get these pre-fire shots around the corners. None of them hitting so far, and JDoney might charge up the volley. Does actually get a few hits, and Just Ace has to drop down, but isn't given the chance. JDoney taking it with a 5-0 victory, and this player is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with further along in this bracket.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we'll watch it again here. Throws the 5 orb. I think about 4 of them end up connecting, and then he's able to find the last shot jumping and Just Ace strafes right into it.
Yeah, some nice hits there. Follows it up with just one simple shot into the head. A clean victory there for JDoney, and it looks like we're going to be moving straight forward into our bracket, into our next quarterfinals match. That's going to be Ninjaden versus Any Cookie Cam. As again, we're going to be taking a journey back to Castillo for our best of 9 here.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm going to go ahead, see if we can get some readies from these players, just keep this moving nice and easy. Definitely separated from yesterday, where things were a little bit of a stalemate every now and then. The tournament, you know, the bracket's slower moving, especially with group stages, but we've got everyone here now. Let's see if I can get some readies from them. We'll jump right into it.
Yeah, definitely a more fast-moving set of matches that we have today, and it's good to see these players just getting these 1v1s done very quickly and very smoothly, as there's more potential for the victory with the better hero selections of these players, the better mechanical skill that you see, and even some really good positioning that we saw from a few players earlier. So more of the potential for these rounds to end in quick bursts and in crazy plays, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some on the highlight reels later as we do move into our next match.
And I think you're right, and I think that has a lot to do with it, especially from what we've seen from JDoney. You know, the ability to out-mind game your opponent. You know, a 1v1 in itself kind of creates this sense of pressure in your mind that you always have to be applying to the opponent. You always have to be looking for a 1v1. But in a situation like that, you know, Reaper versus Torb, I think what you and I were discussing was the better option. You know, play the long game, wait until the point opens up. But JDoney took the right angles, and it forced the Reaper to, I guess, you know, feel oppressed and feel like he had to immediately aggress onto the Torbjorn, and he didn't, but that was the mind game that JDoney put on him. And it looks like we're going to see a Reaper matchup, speaking of, here with Any Cookie Cam versus Ninjaden. And we've seen Ninjaden play before.
Yeah, so Any Cookie Cam definitely going to have to show what they're made of here on stream, as we've already seen Ninjaden dominate through 4 games. Both Wraith forms coming out, and Ninjaden gets the better end there, getting the shot quick as he comes out of that invincibility stage, and takes the lead here 1-0.
Yeah, good play there from Reaper. I mean, waits to bust out his Wraith until the enemy Reaper had come out of his Wraith, took a couple shots, you know, bait the Wraith the instant in Wraith, out of Wraith, and then gets the good body shot to go ahead and finish that off. Definitely well played from him. I think I like Ninjaden for this one, as he opts for the Hog, and so does any Cookie Cam. And once again, I mean, we've talked about this one. It's all about who gets that second hook and who can maintain getting someone out of breathing.
Early shots coming through from both ends, and none of them opting for the aggressive play quite yet. But just as I say that, any Cookie Cam going up close, but Ninjaden with the hook combo gets 200 health just straight off the head. And there's not even a chance for any Cookie Cam to execute those combos, as Ninjaden puts himself up 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, he's looking good here for this one. We might see another 5-0 here. Or excuse me, 5-1 from the previous one. Now, Ninjaden opting for the Hog on that one. I wonder if he maintains these high health pools or if he goes for some burstier heroes. As no, he opts for the Wrecking Ball versus Wrecking Ball from any Cookie Cam as well.
Fight.
Yeah, and it's another mirror match as they both move onto the high ground yet again. Very similar plays coming out from both sides, and Ninjaden again taking a bit more of a defensive angle. Both shields forced out from either side. Any Cookie Cam looking to chunk down Ninjaden a bit more as they both fall below half health here. But I think Ninjaden might have the advantage, but nice headshots from any Cookie Cam. Just a straight line of tracking across that little hamster on top of the mech. That's going to give the first point.
Yeah, I was on first person with any Cookie Cam right there, and those headshots were definitely the difference makers. He comes out with about 70 health by the end of it, and he's able to take out Ninjaden here. And that's what he needed, especially for his morale, especially for the series to be down here, still 1-2, but definitely on the board at this point. We'll see what he can make of it going into this next one.
It looks like we are going to have a Zarya versus D.Va, the typical off-tank duel that you see in a lot of 6v6 matches, and I honestly think this favors any Cookie Cam if they don't give any high charge moments to the Zarya. If this bubble usage comes out from Ninjaden really well, we could see the Zarya gaining that advantage, but again, with the higher health pool and more close range damage, it's going to be the advantage going the way of the blue player, just eating up these long-range bombs shot out from Ninjaden.
Yeah, this is not what any Cookie Cam wants to do right now. I mean, right now, you're trying to poke someone who has regenerative health and see if you can, let's bait a bubble. Ooh, a lot of damage into the bubble, not what you want. So I guess he's going to try and wait out the charge here, but it almost feels like he's already lost this one just with the health pool difference that we're seeing.
Yeah, deciding to retreat and let this Zarya gain back the health, definitely not what you want to do, as now any Cookie Cam demeched and Ninjaden is just going to regen health yet again. This Zarya definitely has the advantage now, as any Cookie Cam is going to be forced to poke and try and charge up this remech. Some early damage there, and we could see Ninjaden landing a few more bombs as that defense matrix isn't available. Only 30 seconds for this mech to be regained, and any Cookie Cam is already 80% back to it.
Yeah, at 95 now, he's definitely going to get this mech back. He's going to be able to contest this last point. But I mean, Ninjaden at 100% health here, just from the regenerative shields. And we're going to see a final fight on point here. He needs to bait out the bubble, and then after he sees the bubble, then micro missiles come in. You just get into Zarya's face, and then you deal all the damage. But he's going to take the early point. Let's see how he deals with the duel.
Yeah, now the boosters coming forward. We'll see if the missiles can chunk down this Zarya. But the Zarya getting a lot of beam damage, forced to reload, and that's just unlucky. The reload coming out at exactly the time Ninjaden wanted to have some ammo left to get that mech bursted, the final 150 HP down. And any Cookie Cam getting 2 in a row, tying us up here on Castillo.
Yeah, 2-2 here. It seems like the healthier pools are definitely going in the way of Cookie Cam, while Ninjaden, as we mentioned, definitely preferring that DPS as he mains. But Ninjaden did nasty work on the Hog before. We'll see if he can clean it up again on this one.
And any Cookie Cam just going to be waiting a bit, maybe looking for the surprise shot here as they both move onto the high ground yet again. We'll see if Ninjaden can get yet another clean hook combo, but you see some early damage coming out from any Cookie Cam. Now both of these breathers forced out, and any Cookie Cam has to get in right now, but Ninjaden is able to retreat back onto the high ground and get that healing back up to full as well.
Yeah, getting that healing up to full is definitely not something that any Cookie Cam wanted to let Ninjaden get away with. He was so ahead on poke. If he would have hooked Ninjaden out of that breather that he was trying to take, I feel like we could have already been wrapped up and headed to this 3-2 matchup in Cookie Cam's favor. But he's going to be looking for some more poke here, and we may see a final fight on point, as it looks like they're just both opting for these left triggers from far range.
I want to see some beautiful, crazy play. One of these guys jumping straight off the balcony and hooking the other to their doom, but that's probably not the smartest decision you can do, as like we said earlier, the second hook typically wins a lot of these battles, as there's more damage to be dealt when you just wait out the other person's hook. It looks like the capture area is going to unlock. You called it, Unicorn. These poke damage battles aren't going to do much when each player has 600 health.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, they're going to opt to take a breather here, you know, both at almost identical ult charge. This may come down to a hook whole hog here, as they're both about 10% off of it.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what these two are waiting for. We'll see who drops down onto the area first, as we're only about 2 seconds left. It's going to be any Cookie Cam taking this bottom area, but misses the hook. Now both whole hogs coming out, but with that advantage in health, Ninjaden is going to claim the victory and get themselves back the lead that they had earlier at the start of this match.
Yeah, that missed hook kind of wiped it up for Cookie Cam. What I wanted to see was him play the other side of the statue, pop the breather to get himself down to full health, and then wait for the hook, and then hook afterwards, and then whole hog. And even with the breather, you're whole hogging someone off a point, so there's not too much they can do, especially when that point capture is so quick. But we're going to jump into another Diva v Diva here for the mirror match to see if we can solidify this either 3-3 or jump up to match point for Ninjaden.
Now they both move up onto this high ground area. Any Cookie Cam boosting straight forward with the missiles, and I think has a health advantage. So many headshots and the tracking coming through from the Diva player in blue, but the second DMEC is going to come through. However, the health advantage the way of any Cookie Cam, and still manages to track the head of Ninjaden. Very good work from that Diva player there.
Yeah, definitely good shots there. Coming out of mech second, you're able to get that overarching, you know, jump out of the mech where it feels like Ninjaden should have tracked that well, but Cookie Cam just able to clutch it out, go for the melee, get some quick burst damage in, and he comes out on top of that as we're trying to fight for match point here in this 3-3 series on Castillo.
Yeah, whoever wins this next little duel here could come out on top, as match point is definitely a good place to be. You're going to have Ninjaden in the red looking to move over onto the left side for the what seems like the first time we've seen this rotation in the series. Any Cookie Cam going to be wrapping all the way around to the back staircase that Ninjaden just occupied earlier. The first shot coming out from any Cookie Cam, and it's looking good for them so far.
Yeah, Cookie Cam gets that quick body shot, automatically puts you so much at an advantage in a McCree versus McCree duel. The only option now for Ninjaden is to try and look for an equal opportunity poke here, try and pop out of this left or right wall. He does get the body shot, which puts them, I believe, identical on health. Cookie Cam actually a little bit lower at this point, as another body shot comes in, and this may come down to just who can get the next headshot at this point.
Yeah, both of them around this 120, 130 health pool area, but Ninjaden with 2 body shots now. Cookie Cam only with 20 health left to their name, trying to jump around the corner to get a surprise shot, but Ninjaden had it read all the way, just hard peeking that corner, and gets the final body shot to put themselves on match point, and we could see the victory coming out here, but I definitely think that any Cookie Cam has the chance to tie it back up and bring us to a 4-4 set.
Yeah, Ninjaden definitely looking to take this series here. Once again, in this single elimination tournament now that we are in playoffs, Ninjaden definitely wanted to secure it, fight for that $30. I believe he'd move on to quarterfinals or semifinals if he wins.
It would be semis at this point, as both of these players looking to get their Bastion turrets set up in the high ground, but Ninjaden able to set up first, and it's going to be up to any Cookie Cam to make the move yet again. There's not really much they can do to get their turret set up, so Ninjaden just has the camp spot. I definitely would have liked for them to stay transformed, as now any Cookie Cam has the advantage in terms of turret rotations. Now, Ninjaden forced off the high ground. Any Cookie Cam going to be chasing all the way down through this lower area, and neither of them have the chance to set up quite yet in a spot that's going to gain any value. But any Cookie Cam moving onto the high ground, Ninjaden forced back yet again.
Yeah, and how much do these advantages really matter with all this self-sustain that each of these heroes have? You know, Bastion be Bastion. Oh, but perfectly played there by Cookie Cam. I mean, he goes, just immediately decides, all right, I'm going to run in your face, go ahead and sentry down, and immediately get the burst. And at that point, Ninjaden just didn't have time to react.
Yeah, there's not really much you can do when you're all out in the open, trapped in that corner with a Bastion firing upon you with the super high damage that Bastion can do, and we're all tied up. This next 1v1 determines who moves on to the semifinals, and definitely looking very close as we have yet another Hog duel.
Yeah, we find ourselves in another 4 versus 4 series here, and this is the third time seeing Roadhog in this series, and each of them have gone to Ninjaden, and maybe this third one can to go ahead and send him over to semis, as Cookie Cam is forced to take a breather early.
Oh, but some big shots coming through. I want to see the hook, but it looks like Ninjaden lands it first. They're both going to be forced to use that take a breather, and I think Ninjaden does have a bit higher of a health pool. Gets the hook, and now the second hook coming through. That's going to go the way of any Cookie Cam, who moves on to our semifinals here in the Apollo 1v1 tournament.
And what a way to win it too. I mean, you're down 0-2 in the Hog duel here in this series, and he's able to clutch the third one out in a 4v4 series and take his spot in the semis, knocking out Ninjaden.
Yeah, absolutely huge plays coming out from the player in the blue. Just landing the shots when it matters, getting that nice hook combo after a huge headshot, and that's going to put themselves in the semifinal yet again. We're going to be moving on to our next match, which is Eco Point Antarctica, as we just figure out who's up next. I believe it's Onto the Stars versus Jaydoni here.
Let's see. Onto the Stars would have moved on because Hidden Ninja forfeit. So Onto the Stars immediately made his way to semis.
Or I believe it would be Culinary Sleep.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's see here. So Culinary versus Onto the Stars. And you're absolutely right. Moving our way back onto Eco Point Antarctica. I'm going to see if I can get some readies from these players, and we'll go ahead and jump into it. Once again, this is straight moving into semis here.
Yeah, and speaking of semifinals, you guys are going to get a quick look at the bracket here on stream. We've got Rome behind the scenes. Just lost that quarterfinals match, but still helping to organize the brackets and move these players forward. Giving us our next look at the bracket is going to be the semifinals set up. First match is going to be Culinary versus Onto the Stars, like we noted. And then you have Jaydoni versus any Cookie Cam as well. It's going to be very close as we just get these next players going through.
And it looks like Stars has a scrim at 7, so he's debating on just dropping out now. We might need 1 second to determine what exactly Stars is going to do, as he is scheduled to play the next game, but might not be able to attend if he makes it all the way to finals.
Yeah, definitely going to figure that out as soon as we can. And getting this one moving forward, it seems like Stars is going to play. I don't know if they're going to drop out potentially after a victory here and just give it to Culinary Sleet either way and just head over to that scrim that you said. But the players ready to go. We're going to be moving straight onto Eco Point Antarctica, like we said.
Arriving at Eco
And
Point.
it sounds like with Stars having this scrim at 7, he's hoping for a quick 5-0 here against Culinary. But Culinary playing well. I mean, we've seen Onto the Stars. From what I remember from yesterday, he did shine on the Hog. Definitely prefer those higher health pool heroes. As he went, was it against Luxrain? I believe that he almost swept. I don't think it was close.
Yeah, pulled out the 5-1 victory in the group stage. And did actually lose to Nin Jaden, who is, I believe, also still alive in this bracket. It's going to be a Ball versus Genji, two very different heroes. Culinary Sleep moving on to the tank, despite being a DPS player. So it could be interesting to see if they make a big impact on the Ball.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you gotta assume if Culinary just gets into Stars' face here, it's gonna be difficult for him to pull this out. You know, a deflect can't match the high health pool that Ball comes in with, especially when he gets an early boot.
And the tracking is huge from Culinary. Has 500 health left and just gets the drop down onto the melee, onto the Stars, not able to escape the Wrecking Ball there. And a quick 1-0. I'd say Culinary definitely did have the better hero selection there with the higher health pool, like we've noted all the way through this bracket today and yesterday. Those are the heroes that most likely will tend to win the battles, and Onto the Stars in a hole to start this one off, but definitely not one they can't dig themselves out of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see a Mei versus Zarya here, but going back to the Ball, Genji, you know, on paper, it looks unfair, right? You know, once we see it play out, it looks unfair. Culinary Sleep took a total of 23 damage throughout that 1v1, but that's what the 1v1 is about, is determining what's unfair for the opponent and playing that in an effort to counter it. And we may see that again here as the Zarya goes to take on the Mei. If the personal bubble isn't used correctly, then this could definitely end badly for Stars.
And the ice block already coming out. Stars getting a bit of health regained through that, and the bubble is perfectly timed. Just has to finish it off, and does. Culinary Sleep falls, and it was definitely a close round, but it is tied up here in our match.
Yeah, 1-1 here. Definitely well played by Stars for that bubble management, like you mentioned. You know, just avoiding that freeze that would lead into the headshot from Culinary Sleep ends up wrapping up the 1v1. We'll have to see if they opt for higher health pools as well here, or if maybe we'll see, you know, another Zenyatta, maybe the Widow duel that we're all craving. We'll see what happens. With the Torb versus the McCree from Stars, this could be a good one.
I definitely like the Torb, just with the ability to control so many angles on the turret. Onto the Stars, going to be forced to make some sort of hero play, maybe stun up this Torbjorn before they can pull out the overload, but already takes some early damage to this turret. Culinary just going to be hammering that one back up to full. So Onto the Stars, looking to get around the corners, does find an early shot and forces out the overload. Now I think it's time to retreat from the McCree player and wait for it to run out, but they do stay out in the open. The headshot comes through. Culinary is going to take that lead straight back.
Yeah, good headshot there from Culinary, taking advantage of the early damage from the turret that it placed onto the Stars at the early part of the round. He tries to play it safe, move right side, and avoid the turret's line of sight. Does so, but ends up running right into the line of sight of Culinary's primary fire with that Torb, and he absolutely popped off there. That's a good way to start, end up ahead in this series.
Now again, Onto the Stars, choosing this Genji against the Soldier. I think it's definitely a bit better of a duel for Onto the Stars here, but it does look like we have a disconnect. And we'll just figure out the cause of that one real quick.
It may have to do, the cause may have to do with him typing I forfeit in Discord. That may have a little something to do with it, but we'll have to determine here in just a second.
Yeah, definitely not too much time there for Onto the Stars, the player, as it looks like, yeah. They do type forfeit in the chat, and that's going to be it here. Culinary Sleep getting a bit of a free victory, was ahead in the series, so who knows, they might have kept that lead going through, but yeah, definitely a player to be reckoned with. Even getting the forfeit win, we haven't seen too much from Culinary, but from what we've seen so far, they are controlling these matches, and it will be interesting to see if they go up against Ninjaden or Jaydoni in that, or if they go up against any Cookie Cam or Jaydoni in this finals match.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even if Culinary gets the forfeit win, I mean, you have to assume that Honor of the Stars was like, okay, I recognize that this is a good enough player to where I'm not going to be 5-0ing him. This is going to be a long series, and just didn't have time if he did make it to finals. So definitely respecting Culinary with his prowess on the 1v1s here. But we'll have to see who we jump into next, as I believe it's going to be Cookie Cam versus Culinary for the finals, right?
We
As we
do
move
have
into
to get that
Castillo.
semifinals rolling first. Jadoni,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, the Jadoni versus Cookie Cam.
yeah, and yeah, getting that bracket moving. It's going to be going pretty quick so far. Definitely very fast stream for all of you out there in chat. And again, moving back to Castillo, it's going to be yet another first to 5 match. I believe the finals are going to be first to 9. So we are going to get to see more of those last 2 players. But for now, all of the marbles in this current matchup, Jadoni or any Cookie Cam, one of them does have to go home after this one.
Definitely. It looks like we have readies from both of the players as well. Going to be jumping on to Castillo for these semifinals to determine who's going to fight Culinary in the grand finals for this tournament. Once again, looking at a prize of that $30 Discord Nitro, and obviously some bragging rights between friends here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of bragging rights here in the Tier 2 community between these Xbox players. There's a lot to be spoken about in past events, and this is definitely going to be one of them. The bragging rights coming up huge, but on top of that, like you noted, a nice sum of money for the prize pool as well. And even some Overwatch League tokens given to the second place person, just to add on to the winnings. But as we get into our match, Jadoni picking the Winston, any Cookie Cam going to be matching that with our Space Monkey.
Yeah, I mean, on to the Winston here for both sides. Now, it looks like, as we jump in here, Jadoni opting for the Stone Golem skin. So you have to assume, being made of rock, he would start with a higher health pool. Unfortunately, that's not true. They're just going to zap the heck out of each other until one of them goes down. And Cookie Cam is able to fall. I'm sorry, Jadoni is able to take out Cookie Cam there in a very heated 1v1. Always fun to watch the Winston versus Winston. Hopefully something a little bit more exciting here for those in chat as we jump into a 1-0 series in Jadoni's favor.
Yeah, and you could tell that Jadoni knew how to manage that jump, as it looks like I was still on the caster scene, if I remember correctly. But we're going to be jumping straight into a
It was just a
tour.
Winston 1v1.
Yeah, it was just a Winston 1v1. Like Unicorn said, hopefully there's some more exciting stuff going on. Jadoni just jumping in and getting the early damage. Speaking of early damage, Jadoni getting 2 hits and a cancel onto that turret drop from any Cookie Cam. So definitely starting this one off with this advantage. Might want to just commit all the way forward. Uses the overload and is going for the hammer. Any Cookie Cam is going to try and hammer it back and does get the final blow onto Jadoni.
Yeah, it turns out trying to meme in a 1v1 semifinal doesn't quite pay off for Jadoni, as he does fall. Allows that turret to stay alive, and it ends up doing almost 75 damage to him. Allows Cookie Cam to clean it up with 2 hammer shots, or hammer strikes there, and he takes that one. It's 1-1, all tied up here.
Yeah, and definitely a round loss that Jadoni might look back on in a bit of regret there, as it looks like we're going to see the Widow coming out, but playing up against the Ana of any Cookie Cam, who's going to try and land this Sleep Dart combo as Jadoni grapples up onto the high ground, gets the first shot, and now any Cookie Cam most likely going to be forced to heal up with that Biotic Grenade, which they do throw down, looking for some quick corner shots, but Jadoni currently with the advantage.
Yeah, Jadoni, the support player opting for the DPS pick, takes 2 quick shots from Cookie Cam, though. He's down to 35 health. The anti cleans him up there. You have to expect that that's coming, especially when you use your grapple so early. I would have tried to stay at range from the Ana of Cookie Cam, but he does a good job there, getting the 2 shots, following it up with a well-placed nade to take that 1v1 after the body shot came in from Jadoni.
Yeah, definitely well played from the Ana there in the blue, who does take the lead, and Jadoni definitely looking back on that Torb loss and maybe wanting that point back, but we'll see if they can get any points back on the Echo Mirror.
Yeah, may end up regretting it here in the long run, but with this Echo v Echo matchup, it's the one that you and I have been most excited about. It's the one that shows, in my opinion, some of the most mechanical skill between the players that are dueling. As we see Cookie Cam trying to poke out here with some primary fire. Neither opponent hitting one yet. As I say that, it looks like Cookie Cam needs to go for the sticky bombs. He can just beam it right now and get away with it.
Yeah, perfect.
Some
play.
interesting tracking, but he manages to clean it up there. Good, well played there from Cookie Cam.
Yeah, Jadoni, I believe in our previous few matches that we saw from the player, was really good at those area heroes like the Pharah and the Echo, and that just seemed to be absolutely not transferring over into this match, as any Cookie Cam coming out with the upper hand with that focusing beam, just gathering the last few bits of health. But we do see the ball coming out next from both heroes.
Yeah, the Wrecking Ball, and any little bit of damage is going to matter here. And Cookie Cam was opting for the headshots previously, as he does now, and that may put him ahead in another one here. As it looks like Jadoni just wants to retreat, goes for the slam here as well. Good adaptive shield from Cookie Cam, but he has to reload as Jadoni's getting free damage in.
Yeah, definitely a nice bit of damage gain, but Jadoni forced back and forced off this high ground. Rolls back on, and these two players are going to take a very long angle at each other, just shooting across the bridge and trying to get this poke down a bit more. Both rolling closer and closer, but Jadoni, forced to reload yet again at not very optimal times, does fall because of it. And any Cookie Cam already on to match point.
Yeah, it turns out hammering in a Torb 1v1 leaves you at a match point deficit here. Jadoni down 4-1, and this is not a position we've seen him in before. We haven't been able to test what he looks like during a comeback because he's looked so dominant throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, any Cookie Cam just coming out and making a statement, maybe moving forward into the finals. We'll see after this round if Jadoni can put one back, as it's going to be a Bastion duel. Any Cookie Cam won the last Bastion duel we saw on stream, so it's definitely going to be a challenge for Jadoni here.
Putting on the RIP skin just to put the nail in the coffin for Jadoni here on match point. Gonna see if he can wipe him out here. And you see he wants to do the same thing, get a little aggressive, just pop right. Oh, okay. Well, gives Jadoni the round, jumps off of the map. I've got to assume on purpose because they won a more interesting match point. Not too sure what was going through his head, but I would assume it's just fun between friends trying to make this a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. You saw some interesting plays come out earlier, and we see another, if you can really call those interesting, maybe just a bit of craziness coming out from the two. But it's going to be Moira versus Ashe to potentially end off this series. Any Cookie Cam moving on to the high ground as Jadoni wraps around the bottom edge.
Yeah, Jadoni definitely taking the safe angle here. Doesn't want to mess with the high ground, just wants to see if he can wrap around to the opponent's spawn and get right in Cookie Cam's face, because he might have caught him unaware.
The damage orb sent out, Jadoni moving straight forward. A nice little dodge there, and Cookie Cam gains the high ground back. The fade is ready to go, as well as the orb from Jadoni. Just going to be sending that one out to heal themselves back up, and the fade is online yet again. Could maybe dodge out of an early dynamite coming out from Cookie Cam. Moving straight forward, but the coach gun is good yet again. Jadoni forced back and has to use that healing orb yet again.
Yeah, he's got his fade online again, and he's full health working with a Cookie Cam who's sitting at 65 right now. This is going to have to be two rapid headshots if Cookie Cam wants to be able to clean this up. He throws a warning dynamite over to that music side, I guess we'll call it, since we seemed so confused yesterday. Wants to push on to Coast, but he's trying to look for him right now. But here comes the damage orb again from Jadoni, and that's already enough at that point.
Yeah, Jadoni getting closer and closer to tying this one up and getting the comeback going, but still, Cookie Cam on to match point can seal this one up with just one round win. It's going to be very heated as we continue into this semifinal. The next person to win is definitely, on one case, they're going to go into the finals, and on the other case, they're going to put themselves almost on a full comeback.
I mean, definitely, yeah. I mean, a full comeback, and you got to assume from Cookie Cam here, he's got to be excited about where he's at. Barely won the 1v1 previously against Ninjada, and now he's or at least previously, had J-Doni in a 4v1 situation, and he finds some good poke damage here onto J-Doni. Definitely at this point higher on the tracking spectrum against J-Doni's soldier.
A few quick headshots, that's going to force any Cookie Cam to drop their healing station down, but the Helix is nice, and now it's going to be an aggressive angle taken by Cookie Cam. The Helix on J-Doni's side misses, but able to follow it up with some headshots, and this new soldier buff here, you can call it, definitely paying off in J-Doni's favor as they were able to land every single one of those headshots.
Yeah, I think that was just the biofield difference. I think what Cookie Cam needed to do is that little lip right here on the left side of Castillo needed to play that natural structure, needed to just back off, wait for the biofield, and try and find some sustain. Instead, stays in the open, tries to get the better of the tracking, and J-Doni comes out on top as we see a Bastion versus an Ana. This is either going to be over very quickly, or we're going to see a good sleep, and J-Doni is going to come out on top of this, but we're match point to jump into the finals.
Yeah, the big play has to come out of J-Doni, but they do miss the sleep. And now Cookie Cam can just walk forward, try and get some close range damage done, but the bio grenade is nice, and it forces any Cookie Cam back. They're just gonna wait to get that healing back up to full health. J-Doni just chasing them around the side, does get the sleep this time, and now the follow-up with the Bionade is secured. The full comeback from J-Doni, and they do move themselves into the finals.
J-Doni pushing forward to the finals, and J-Doni's got to be happy about going into the finals, right? He's going in with Culinary Culinary Sleet, who didn't have to go a full match with Honor the Stars because of Honor the Stars having to leave, so maybe Culinary wasn't even the right pick for the finals. Maybe Honor the Stars could have clutched it out, and J-Doni might have an easier opponent here for these last finals.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be yet another heated match, and just checking back, I believe the finals is 1st to 9, but who knows? And it looks like any Cookie Cam looking back on that match did actually lag off the map.
Oh, that's
on
gotta
that
be
last
rough.
one. Getting a quick stint of high ping definitely could affect them. And moving into the finals yet again, we're just gonna see if these two players are ready to go. We might give you guys a short break on stream as we get everything set up for our final match and these two figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, that's got to be rough here. You know, J-Doni definitely happy to take the win, but Cookie Cam probably could have clutched out that 1v1. Proved to be the better Bastion in his previous 1v1. He's got to be kicking himself after that. Can we confirm he's EU? Was that the problem?
I don't think so. Might just have been a lag spike on the side of the servers, who knows. But we are going to give you guys a short break here on stream as we set up the finals. Once we're back from that, you're going to have the final action here in the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament, and it's going to be very exciting. Welcome back, everyone, for the last time here in the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament. It's going to be your grand finals between Culinary Sleet and J-Doni, both of them moving forward in those close semi-final matches, making it all the way here to decide who gets the grand prize, who gets that $30, and on top of it, a Discord Nitro gift for the month. And as we look at our bracket, again, it's going to be Culinary Sleet versus J-Doni. Unicorn, anything you'd like to say before we move on to Castillo for our big finals match?
And now we confirmed that Culinary is a DPS main, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got a DPS main versus a very, very flexible support main. J-Doni has been dominant throughout these tournaments, even mounting a comeback sweep just recently against Cookie Cam there. And unfortunately, you know, lagging off the map, it's definitely not what you want to see, but ends up taking it very cleanly over the next 3 rounds. Now, can he do the same thing against Culinary Sleet? Can he be as oppressive and as dominant as he's shown to be? Culinary, you know, getting a free ride into the finals here after what was looking to be a close series versus Honor the Stars, but definitely two formidable players. I think we're going to see a close one as we jump into a best of 7 for this one on Castillo.
Yeah, it's for sure going to be a long series. It's going to be a close series. There's a few extra rounds for these players to maybe mount a heroic comeback or bring it even closer and down to the wire, as it looks like we do have the readies from both sides. We're going to get you guys straight into Castillo yet again. And again, for the big prize this match, all of the marbles go down right here. Everything is set out and ready to go. It's going to be a very intense set of rounds.
It definitely is, and I think the hero pool is going to matter so much more than it's mattered previously, because at this point we know that both of these players are so formidable in these 1v1s. They play their angles correctly, they play the mind games correctly, so it's going to come down to who they're more comfortable on between the three heroes available, and how they can perform on those versus what might be counters.
And Jaydoni again opting for the Ana here to start this one off. You've got Culinary Sleet moving on to the Torbjorn, just trying to set up this turret here on the high ground. Drops it straight down the middle area, and Jaydoni is going to go for some early hits, but the turret is going to be the only one claiming damage at the moment.
Yeah, Jaydoni trying to go in for some poke, ends up destroying the turret. He falls to about 65% health. You've got to assume a bio nade's going to clean that up here in just a second, as he has it available. Does get some poke there onto Culinary Sleet, and Culinary Sleet does not have the option to heal that up.
And again, the turret claiming just a bit of damage, but now Jaydoni is going to opt to use that Biotic Grenade. Culinary Sleet taking a bit of poke as well, and that little shot just barely whizzed by Jaydoni. Now Culinary trying to move on to the offensive. He's going to have to take it up close and personal before the Sleep Dart recharges.
Yeah, definitely. Jaydoni a little bit low on health here. I think I just want to bio nade and create some space for myself. Just back up, try and find an angle in that turret to destroy it. The angle is going to come to him, though, as he looks like he is going to back up. I want to see him pop that bio nade and continue to try and get out.
Yeah, Jaydoni's just going to be trying to rotate around. Now Culinary does have the high ground, but a surprise shot could put him at one hit potential. The Sleep Dart barely whizzing by the head. Now the Overload used, but the Shotgun Blast missing the head of Jaydoni. There's going to be a few that do hit, and one final shot could finish it off. At 15 health, Culinary is going to take the lead 1-0.
Yeah, that was rough to watch from both players. I haven't said it too many times throughout this. That was pretty scary to watch. A bunch of misses from both of them, really late on the bio nade, but Culinary is barely able to pull it out, jumps up 1-0 here, but how much of a difference is that going to make, as it is 1st to 7? Jaydoni's got plenty of time to mount a comeback.
Yeah, definitely a lot of chances for Jaydoni to get back into it, and it's going to be Pharah versus Ball. I think this definitely favors Culinary here, as that Ball is able to just track down the Pharah through the skies with the high ammo count, and it's going to be swinging forward, gets a bit of damage, but Jaydoni with a lot of direct hits, almost knocking Culinary off of that high ground, but the slam going to keep them back on, but Jaydoni still hitting so many shots. Now the volley's finally coming in on the other side, but Culinary Sleep just a bit too late. Not able to get Jaydoni out of the skies, and another close round is going to put us all tied up.
So close. If Culinary could have just had a little bit better track, yeah, I mean, Jaydoni ending that round with 12 hit points. Definitely a close one there, but some great direct hits from Jaydoni. You're absolutely right. Well played on the Pharah there. If he's not already a Pharah main, I would suggest jumping into his DPS account and getting some reps in, because he's performing well every time he's jumped out of his Pharah.
Yeah, I've been doing really well on these aerial characters, and now you see them both move on to Winston. Not necessarily as aerial as Pharah, but still does have that jump utility, which is going to be used early, but Culinary getting a bit more damage done. They're both going to try and melee for that extra damage count. Jaydoni jumping up, landing back on top of Culinary, and this is so close. We'll see who comes out on top. I think it's going to be Culinary, as Jaydoni dropping down due to that nice jump melee combo. Now all Culinary has to do is jump forward. That's exactly what's going to happen. And landing straight on top of Jaydoni, not even going to give them a chance to jump out. Takes it to 2-1 here.
Yeah, it was definitely well played there from Culinary, and what he did is when Jaydoni jumped straight in the air like you mentioned, Culinary ended up backing up under the staircase, or excuse me, down the staircase, and as Jaydoni landed, that splash damage from Winston landing didn't affect Culinary, which put him up in the health pool difference, and that allowed him to clean it up. I like that. That was a heads-up play. Quite literally.
And now they're both going to be moving on to the Diva. The same skin, I believe, in fact. Both just looking for a bit of early poke damage, but that's not going to be gained. Culinary using the defense matrix. Jadoni follows it up with a quick flash of their own. And now the missiles used from either side just going to be eaten up. And it's nice diva play so far. I like the booster attack there. And Jadoni lost track of Culinary for just a quick second, but is going to get that D-Mech. Now it's a battle of these baby divas, and Culinary getting out on top so far.
Yeah, definitely. And in this Baby Diva war, it looks like we have 80 health on Culinary versus the 52 on Jadoni. Jadoni falls down to 24-10, but he's able to clean it up with the headshots. That was really well played. And I loved the hero tech from Culinary there. What he did is, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but as soon as you use boosters on Diva, you can melee immediately without it canceling your boosters, just for some extra amount of burst damage, and then any melees afterwards will obviously cancel the boosters. But using that hero tech put him up in the mech battle, but Jadoni, every time he's on this Baby Diva, just proves to be dominant.
Now we're going to have a Tracer duel. If I've seen the flexibility of Jadoni, this doesn't put him at a disadvantage, even though Culinary is the DPS player in this match. Both landing a lot of damage, both using the recall to gain it back, and now it's going to get a bit scrappy as they drop onto the low ground. Jadoni almost blinking off the map, but saves themselves with that extra blink. And now actually does blink off the map that time. No recall left for you, no nothing. Culinary Sleep is going to follow Jadoni out, but only after they did win the round and put themselves onto 3-2.
You gotta think that somewhere any cookie cam is laughing from the grave as Jadoni falls off the map in a similar fashion. A bit of revenge here, even from a player who's no longer in the tournament, and that puts Culinary up 3-2 here as we're about halfway done with this and he still has an advantage.
Jadoni picking the Zarya, Culinary following it up with the mirror as well. And it looks like they're both again going to be looking for this early poke, but neither of them really gaining anything. Culinary getting a bit of charge early, but Jadoni also able to use that bubble and gain a bit as well. Now it's going to be a battle of who can track the most with this beam, who can maybe land the finishing bomb here. Culinary again using the bubble, but Jadoni just has a bit better of that protection, playing the corners a bit better as well. Gets the nice finishing blow.
Yeah, it definitely plays around his structures better. A lot of left triggers followed by melees and attempt at Jadoni. Jadoni does find the left triggers, and that burst damage ends up winning him that 1v1. Very well played by him as he ties it up 3-3 here, and we'll see what these players opt for. But so far it's been larger health pools, and it's been aerial for Jadoni. It seems to be what he prefers as he jumps onto the Reaper, and Culinary jumps onto the Roadhog. This could be interesting. If Culinary doesn't hit this immediate combo for the 250 health that the Roadhog is capable of, this could definitely favor Jadoni.
Jadoni already getting an early hit, but Culinary moving around the corner now lands the hook. The quick shot melee combo is going to get the kill, and it's 4-3. Every single time Jadoni ties it up, Culinary decides, no, I'm not going to let that happen. Puts himself back into the lead, and if this continues, it could be a very close series, but Culinary could come out on top unless Jadoni wins a few rounds in a row.
Yeah, if the math shows us anything, if Jadoni keeps tying it up and Culinary pulls one ahead, he'll end up winning the 7-6, and I know that wouldn't be too upsetting for him, as it looks like we're going to see another Diva 1v1. If Culinary can hit this tech correctly and then really dominate the Baby Diva battle, he may pull out on top of this one as he is down 0-1 in these Diva duels.
Oh, a lot of missiles landed from Jadoni, and now Jadoni does have that advantage in mech charge, but better headshots coming out from Culinary, who does get demeched in return. Now it's a battle of the Baby Divas yet again. Jadoni landing a few headshots. Culinary trades it back. Only 10 health left for the Diva in red, and this is not looking too good as Culinary drops down around the corner. Just needs one shot to finish off Jadoni. And finally, distinguishing that lead a bit more with a 2-point advantage.
Yeah, now if I'm Culinary here, or excuse me, if I'm Jadoni here, I'm definitely starting to worry, right? We're coming up on match point for Culinary. He needs just 2 more to shut this down, and Jadoni's down 3-5. Once again, we've seen him in a comeback situation in his most recent duel, and it may take Culinary falling off the map, but Jadoni's definitely capable of pulling this out.
Ooh, Culinary on the Genji here against the Bastion of Jadoni, and I think it's possible that Jadoni doesn't even decide to transform and just wants to play the long duel, but Culinary using this dash to engage isn't going to give Jadoni the space to just beam him down with that sentry form. Now Jadoni transferring on to that turret mode, using a bit of healing to get himself back up, but the deflect is good and the combo is there. Culinary showing what he's made of on the Cyber Ninja.
Yeah, well played there for the deflect. As soon as the left trigger comes out for Jadoni to try and heal himself, he goes ahead and gets the melee dash combo, and that's enough to immediately clean up Jadoni. And he's in trouble. This is match point for Culinary, and that should decide it all. I mean, we're talking $30 Discord Nitro for a month, and what, just some Overwatch Sleep tokens for Jadoni? Pick it up, man. You gotta win this.
Yeah, it's definitely a better prize pool for the #1 player, and we'll see who that ends up being as some early icicles coming out from Jadoni. Again, these players know how much they need to poke to start each one of these off, and it's a very interesting duel. Who do you think gets the advantage in this May versus Baptiste?
I think with the hit scan from Culinary, he can definitely pull this out. As Jadoni doesn't even have time to cryo freeze, and that's it. No ice block comes out, and Culinary takes this win in the 1v1 tournament.
Yeah, just a clean sweep of rounds at the very end. It was looking so close at the start, and I thought Jadoni might be able to put himself into the lead a few times in those rounds, but Culinary just coming up on top each time in the end there. Gets the blow with the Torbjorn here to barely start off the match there in the lead. And from there, it was looking pretty good. Culinary is going to be your victor, and again earns that big prize pool, $30 whole and a Discord Nitro for a month.
And congratulations to him. You know, Jadoni looked dominant throughout this, and first of all, we got to give it up for him, right? You know, showed a ton of heart, came out here, definitely earned second place in what we thought was going to be his tournament throughout the whole thing. But Culinary getting the ride into finals off of Honor the Stars forfeit, but already in a match that he was looking good in. Looked like he probably would have come out on top of that one, and he shows himself in these grand finals and ends up taking the whole thing. Good for him.
Yeah, great work there from Culinary Sleet all the way through the bracket, and that is going to do it for the Apollo Community 1v1 tournament here in the Tier 2 Xbox NA scene. Beautiful plays from a ton of players you saw yesterday and today in these matches, and there's definitely a few highlights to go look back at, but overall, anything you'd like to note about this unicorn?
No, I appreciate the Apollo org for having us to cast it. I appreciate you as always, NSB, not only for hosting the actual stream, but for having me as a co-caster. Really enjoyed these series of 1v1s. Hope the chat did as well. Appreciate all of you.
Yeah, big thanks going out to Apollo and Rome Treehouse, especially for helping to host this whole tournament and getting us out here on stream. Thanks to any new followers that dropped by, any new people in the chat. Always a big heart goes out to you guys. And we'll see you guys next time. That's going to do it. I was NSB, joined tonight by Unicorn here on the stream. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks so much, everyone.